and the Dudes at Ringside podcast with Joe the Panther Jr. and the Metal Geek. Who knows what you'll be in store for? Who knows what I'll be in store for? I don't even know. Maybe, just maybe, if you're good enough, there might be some races in it for us. Oh yeah. Sit back and enjoy. And don't forget, never look under the covers.
Good. Hi, everybody. Good night, everybody, and welcome to Dudes at Ringside Podcast. I am your host, Joe Panther Jr. And now introducing the happy heel himself, Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside crew? What's going on, everyone? What's going on? Joe, what's going on?
But, oh, man. That's another insane day to be a wrestling fan. SmackDown was pretty good. Pretty good.
Selena Vega returned, right?
Yeah, another big return. Selena Vega returns to WWE. But we don't know permanent. You know, they could be sliding us to the side again. You know what I mean?
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, awesome.
That was a good match. That's why I said SmackDown was pretty good. But
we're not here to talk about SmackDown, right?
Yeah, we're not here to talk about SmackDown. Rain was we had a fun rainstorm earlier this morning, but now it's time for story time. Let's give a warm welcome back to our friend from the padded room, Damian Dragon.
Yeah.
Back.
You gave us the cross-eyed there.
I was like, you're stuck like that.
Camera 1 or camera 2?
Yeah, welcome back to me.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I haven't melted this week.
So, you haven't been here all, man. Now we're internationally known on all these freaking social media things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we're not only on Twitch, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube now, we're on
Spotify, Podbean, and iHeartRadio. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I was at work. The only reason we got iHeartRadio now, radio. That's what they did in the commercial. iHeartRadio. I was sitting at the deli looking at the fried chicken, and me and my boss were talking about where can I watch you? And I said, this at Spotify. And then as he's saying, he's like, are you guys on? He puts his hand up as it's going, iHeartRadio. And I was like,
no.
And he's like, why?
Not yet.
Oh, maybe soon. And now I get home and he's like, really? And I said, really?
The idea was Joe, but leave it to Geek right here.
Yeah. It's like I pushed him in front of the fireball table. You do it. As Damian's dragging Joe Lance up the ladder to get thrown to that non-real real table.
That's still pain. Every time I recall that one, it still hurts. I mean, it was funny leading up to it, but like, oh my god, it hurt. God, that hurt.
Do you laugh?
Was one of the most painful.
Did you laugh about it now, or after 20 years, 15 years, whatever it was, or do you still say, "Damn, that really did hurt," and you still?
Oh no, I still say, "Damn, that hurt," because, like I said, I couldn't really walk for like a couple of days. I was like, my whole left side, from like my ribs to my hip, were discolored and bruised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't move. I was shot.
Jeez.
Oh, there was a lot of funny moments leading up to it and everything like that. So it was good.
Just
John.
John's here. The party has started. John's here.
The song man. That's the song
it's
man.
all no, Joe. It's only getting started.
It's
like the comments just arrived.
Exactly.
So we're gonna find out later on today. We'll probably get more people. So
yeah, like
very cool.
It's interesting when we started this out. We did the Raws and SmackDowns, now later, like Raw's. I used to love Monday Night Raw was my getaway from the world, and now lately I'm like, Geek, let's just get guests because we don't want to cry every Monday night after Raw. Going, oh my god, what did I just watch? Let's just get guests. I don't want to cry. I used to get really excited. Didn't you? Like, when you were younger.
I honestly thoroughly hope, but actually expect once the live crowds start returning, it's going to be a big turnout because there's apparently like Vince is aware that where the product is at, and they've been holding off a few things purposely for live audiences because they want that live reaction, they want that real pop and everything like that. That's why they've held off on Becky coming back, and they want Becky to come back in front of people. They want Brock to come back in front of people. So they've been holding on. It's only a couple more short weeks to that first SmackDown at MSG.
Yeah. It's funny. Me and Geek were like talking about it. We were talking, and he said he brought up like he wanted to do it. He was like, Joe Garden, and I said, Geek, no. He's like,
we have guests that day.
I'm like, we have 2 guests that day. Shush. One guy. We have a girl from the West Coast. Yeah, we got 3 messages, Lance. I don't know who they're from. There's one girl. Here we go. I'm glad my mom doesn't look at my cell phone with all these pictures of wrestlers. We have her. She's from the West Coast.
Okay.
Hey, she said choose 2 pictures, and I was like, okay. I hate choosing pictures. And then I chose this one too, because it looks fun.
Well, you should choose something where you can see the person's face. The mask doesn't help.
Yeah, it does not. I kind of don't like choosing pictures for wrestlers because that's why I messaged them. Can you send us a picture that you would like us to promote you?
Yeah.
What if I choose a picture from like 5 years ago and she has an outfit with the flower on it and now she's goth? Like the chick from Boy Meets World when the sweet girlfriend. The one that plays the sweet girl playing the guitar and then he breaks up with her and she becomes a psycho. Like that. What if I get a girl that used to be a general, like everyday America's sweetheart, and then she turned heel and becomes this psycho, like Victoria?
Yeah.
She's gonna go, I didn't want that outfit. Damn it, Milford and your guns. Shut up. We're interviewing Damian Dragon here. Actually, it's funny, this guy that comes on the podcast, he came on a podcast last night for Geek's birthday, might I add, yesterday.
Happy belated, by the way.
Thank you. Happy 4th, by the way, to everybody. So
absolutely.
I know somewhere in the back of Geek's mind, he just fanboyed out because Damian Dragon. Oh my God, Damian Dragon has wished me happy birthday. Somewhere in the old Lance with the braces went, oh my God, Damian Dragon just happy birthday to me. You know what's funny? Like for us seeing you in the ring and then now you guys all do promos for us. For me, 19-year-old Joe is having a freaking panic attack in the back of my brain. Oh God, now they say our name.
Yeah.
Like, Dickie Rods.
Yeah.
He did a promo for us in his
NYWC studio. He needed.
Yeah, I saw it. He did a nice setup for you guys and everything.
Yeah.
19-year-old Joe was like Stewie Griffin rocking back and forth. Oh my God.
And then the trophy was in the background.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heart and Soul trophy.
The Heart and Soul trophy. And he said he wants that to be an every year thing now. Which is good because, it's a gimmick to sell tickets. So
exactly.
Like the King of the Ring. It's like somebody thinks the King of the Ring is coming to town. Oh, I gotta go, right?
Yeah, exactly. You get those annual events like when they had Psycho Circus and everything like that. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
ECWA's got the Super 8. Everybody's got, their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just like, there's a show coming up that me and Geek are attending. We're attending the NYWC show on the 17th. Me and Geek were going. And actually, there's 2 shows in the same night. And I almost freaked out because they announced it. And Geek's like, send me the poster. And I went like this.
Oh, it's okay. It's at 1:30. We could go to both.
Like, oh,
there you go.
I said, he canceled the tickets. He's like, don't know. I'm like, but he's like, TJ, what's his name?
TJ Crawford. TJ Crawford's
going to be at the show at Victory Pro Wrestling. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, I've worked there.
I don't know anybody on that roster.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody on WC now.
I worked there a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
I know Bam Bam is a woman. Bam Bam, something, the big black lady.
Karen Bam Bam.
Karen Bam Bam. I don't know who she is.
Anyway, so what do you guys want to know?
Whatever stories are on your mind, we want to know.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, if you guys pop questions at me or whatever or something, I know like I might remember. Who knows? Because as I said, if anybody got questions, shoot them, and I'll shoot the stories from there. And I'll see kind of what pops into the calcified gray matter that's in my ears to remember.
Memories of any shows you did in Jersey, like when you were like any like New Jersey shows that we didn't?
Ton of them. Did a ton of them. Trying to think. Oh my God, Jesus! I'm trying to think of what standout, moments there are in terms of stories. Or I mean, I gave you guys the Ricky Steamboat story. I gave you guys the Psycho Circus story, the lead up with the thumbtacks and the kill, right? You guys told me about that, right?
Yeah, we told us that one. You told us the Eddie Guerrero story. Yeah,
Eddie was great. Trying to think here. Here's a good one. There's two stories. One show is a Connecticut show. And actually this is the first time I actually met Xavier when he was starting out. God rest his soul. Like Xavier didn't even have gear yet. Xavier was just like wearing like Adidas track pants and the high tech boots. He didn't have gear yet. He was still starting out. He was so young. But it was like one of the it was just like one of those shows like the promoter like runs every couple of months. So like it's just to run a show and they stack it with like names like crazy. So on this show he had George the Animal Steel as a special guest. He had Jake the Snake Roberts, Gilbert, and Psycho Sid. So the first story goes, I get to talk to Jake the Snake Roberts comes up to me in Boogaloo because Boogaloo and I were traveling together a lot at the time. And he goes, "Hey boys, have you ever taken a move called the Bat Cave?" "No, sir." This is not familiar with it. "Here's how it goes. I take you, give you a couple shots. I whip you off to the ropes. You hit the ropes. As you're hitting the ropes, I turn around, pull my pants down, open up my butt cheeks. You come back and you take the Bat Cave. That's the Bat Cave." It's like, okay.
Yeah, man.
I was like, and now I've seen everything.
I was like, okay. I was like, all right. I was like, thank you, sir. And then later on that night, and then you guys remember Boogaloo. Boogaloo's a tough guy. And we actually spoke about this on his podcast recently. Brought this one up on a little reunion. But so Sid's there. And, Sid's a big dude, man, Yeah. And everybody knows the history of Sid and WCW and a pair of scissors and Arn Henderson. Everybody knows that story. So Boogaloo used to wear like this leather vest. It had a really cool patch on the back, had a skull with a bandana and everything like that. Really, really nice patch. And so Sid's sitting on the locker room bench. So Sid's sitting is still about our height, and everything, because he's that tall. And he had his student with him. His student went on to become somebody. I forgot who it was. Boogaloo knows who it was. I can't remember for the life of me. But yeah, Sid sitting is almost still as tall as us. But he says, "Hey, kid, come here." Because he sees Boogie with the vest. He says, "All right." And he comes over and he says, "Let me see the vest." Boogie goes, "Ah, shit." He hands him the vest, and he's just like, Sid's looking at it and everything like that. He's telling him, "That's nice, right? I like that. That's nice. So Boogaloo doesn't back down, but Boogaloo at this moment was a little nervous. He's like, yeah, there's this place over in the city. That's where I got it. And then he told him the place. The manager goes, "Yeah, I never heard of it." And because so I'm like, "You're all right." He goes, dude, it's Psycho Sid. If he wants to freaking take it, what the fuck am I gonna do? It's not like I can tell him no. This is the man. So he's cool, and he hands it back to Boogie, and Boogie walks away. He goes, dude, he goes, you know what that man did to Arn Anderson? If he told me he wanted to keep the vest, what was I gonna say? No.
Jeez.
Oh God.
So there was that one. So that was that one time. That was pretty funny. It was there was one time I grossed out Gangrel. I grossed out Gangrel in the middle of a match. We used to work this company out here in Jersey called IHPW while we were doing the Disturbed Dreams thing. And that's when I had my student with me, Jay Chronic. He used to do like the crazy caveman, wild man type gimmick. And they had us as this group called Bloodthirsty, you know, and like that. And so through the whole time, I'm cutting the promos. We used to do studio promos, get together, everything for DVDs, everything. And I kept, we were feuding with independent worker, mostly known in Jersey as Johnny Thunder, and the Nelson brothers. They're like these twin brothers that were a tag team, mostly like an amateur background, you know. But so we're doing all these promos against them. But so as I'm cutting the promos, I'm doing full on Disturbed. You know, she's doing like, you know, like she's in a fairy where like she's just nuts and everything like that. My partner, he's a savage. He can't talk. He's got his face painted and everything. So we keep referring to he's coming, you know, and everything like that. So finally the show comes where he's arriving, and he happened to be Gangrel, which so we got to be in this group for one night with Gangrel, which was like utterly epic, you know, because I never have felt Gangrel has gotten his just due and got the real shine he could have gotten. But so he comes in and he wanted us to do the promo together. So the way we worked it was the show the month before at the building, we kidnapped his nephew, Johnny Thunders. Johnny Thunders' nephew, Chris Thunder, was actually Foxy's brother. Played Johnny Thunder's nephew, and like that, because they'd known him. You know, her brother pretty much grew up around the wrestling school and everything like that. So Johnny knew him growing up. So we said, we'll use Chris. So we did the backstage promo. So like, you know, we the month before we literally grabbed him from the crowd, and the crowd was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" Like we literally grabbed this kid because he was young at the time. He was like still a teenager. So we literally grabbed this kid from the crowd. We roughhouse him, we manhandle him, we bring him to the back and everything. So the next month we come back, we made it look like we gothed him out. We threw clothes on him and makeup and my goggles and everything on him. So we cut the promo in the back leading up to it. And Gangrel was super cool, super nice. And I was like, you know, sir, you know, we'll stand in the back. You do the promo and like that. He goes, no, man. He goes, you've been here for months playing this stuff. You do the promo. I was like, really? He goes, yeah, you do it. I was like, all right, cool. So if you watch that Disturbed Damian Dragon music video that I have on YouTube, you see like he's there with Foxy's brother and everything like that. Behind the scene, he's like, ah! And he's put his teeth on like Chris's neck and everything like that. So it's like really cool. Oh, fun story too, because like now he's got like regular teeth and everything like that. But those two fang ones at the time were like surgically implanted because they at different times in his wrestling career they got knocked out. So like he was literally missing a tooth on each fang. So he eventually had them like put in.
Oh crap.
Anyway, we go to the ring first because, you know, obviously he's the star. He's gonna come out last, you know, and everything like that. And I mean, come on. It doesn't matter if it's indie show. The lights go out. You hear that Gangrel music. That's like one of the coolest theme musics like you can't ever heard. It's like so good. So, you know, we're trying to like stay in gimmick this whole time. So me, my student Jay Chronic, and Foxy and Chris are in the ring. So we still got Chris and everything like that. So we're like working on gimmick and all this stuff. And the lights go out. The music goes on. And we're trying to stay in gimmick, but like we're whispering to each other like, this is the most awesome thing ever. like in our heads we're marking out because like this is awesome. Like we're standing in the middle of the ring, Gangrel's music coming, he's gonna be a partner and everything like that. So, you know, Gangrel comes in the ring, you know, we do a little quick sabby-dabby, we roll out, you know, for a second. So we get our game plan together. So Gangrel goes, okay, I got this figured out now. You're the crazy beast guy and you're just hella fucking hyper, which was me. So you start the match. I said, okay. So we start the match. So in training one day years ago, so to date where this is going really quick, I was leaning ringside at Johnny Rogers at the school training. And Johnny noticed I am actually double jointed in both elbows.
Oh boy.
And so both my elbows are double jointed. So he goes, Pa, you can make that a gimmick. The guy comes in, he goes, boom, and then I bend the arm. So years later, the idea popped into my head to listen to Johnny and use it. So we're working this thing, and Johnny Thunder puts me into like an overhand wrist lock. So I says, Johnny, at one point I'm going to tell you to wrench it. But I didn't really kind of tell him where we were going with it because I wanted people to kind of naturally freak out a little bit. So I tell him, I said, all right, wrench it. So right when he wrenches it, I go, whap. And you can see like my arm, and you've never heard an entire audience, every wrestler standing at the corners go, oh! like the whole audience. Even Gangrel Grell got grossed out. Gangrel's like, oh, what the hell? He's like trying to say, oh. And Johnny Thunder's like, oh my God, like what the hell? So then I'm like, so I'm working it. The referee like comes up, checks me. I'm like, don't touch it. And then Johnny comes up to me. I still got my arm bent in like the wrong direction. As soon as he comes up to me, wham! I punch him in the face. And what I do is I take my arm and I make it like I popped it back into place. And right when I did that, if you thought the second noise was worse, everyone's like, oh, like people were ready to like throw up and everything like that. So boom, get the heat. I tag out to my student. And I get back in the corner with Gangrel. Gangrel goes, I've seen a lot of shit in my day. That was the grossest thing I have ever seen.
If we got a vampire, you got to do something really crazy.
Yeah, it was the game. And that was like honestly, it was like the first and only time I ever like worked that into a match. And then I mean, I did a lot of other silly spots, but that was the first time I ever worked like my born with gimmicks into a match and everything. So that was a fun one. That was definitely a fun one. And everything like that. Have you guys got questions? Shoot, so it gives me time to think if I can remember anything else.
Yeah, I got one. Were you there? You were obviously there when the big Mick Foley surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any stories from that, or? I
don't have any stories from that, but that wasn't the first time I met Mick. And the first time I met Mick Foley was kind of weird in a way. It was I actually met him during TRL.
TRL.
Yeah, Totally Request Live at MTV.
I remember it, yeah.
It was the episode that they had like indie wrestlers like working a thing, and Mick Foley and Mankind was the judge. I don't know if you guys remember that at all.
I don't think I remember that. I remember Stone Cold being a part of it.
Mankind was on this episode of TRL because he was there judging the guys. And so we get there. They call for us. They call Johnny Rods. A bunch of us go. I mean, a lot of us go. A lot of us. And it was like, so you want to be the next WWE superstar? Like this was before like they started Tough Enough and everything. So they had us like come hours before. We're sitting outside in a long, and it's not just us. It's like wrestlers from all over. And like there was even one guy that was like not even trained, just had a body, saw the line, jumped in, and apparently could cut a promo and everything. Had a good, but he called himself the California Dream. Had a name and everything, had not a lick of experience and everything. So, like the first thing they do, we're out there all day long. And now the sun is beaming too. It was like a hot summer day. So everybody's out there in wrestling gimmicks. They interview us a couple times while we're in line and everything like that. Then one by one, we start in groups, we start going in, and then you do the first promo in like a booth. If they like it, then you do another promo. And then if they like both, then you want to like doing something on the actual show and everything like that. So I made it onto the actual show. So we cut the two promos and everything like that. So they don't want us actually wrestling each other because they didn't want anybody getting hurt. So what they did was they made like a stuffed dummy. But this dummy wasn't like stuffed solid. It was like almost like they had stuffed it with like toilet paper because it was like very, 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 very mushy. very, very mushy, very flimsy. And then on top of that, they didn't even get a wrestling ring. I mean, I know they couldn't get a high wrestling ring because we had low wrestling. There was such thing as low wrestling rings, but they got a boxing ring. And a boxing ring has zero give. None.
Oh, I think I know we're going to this
whatsoever. So we're doing, people are doing moves and everything, and they're going, we're doing moves one by one. We're beating up this dummy. So they're bringing us in 2 at a time, and we're taking turns beating up a dummy, which we did the best we could with it. It's only so good it was going to look without it looking ridiculous, So commercial break goes. So me and one of my wrestling school buddies goes in, Sweet Bobby G. It's me and him in there. And I look out of the corner of my eye, and I look over, and I see what I think is like a big mannequin of Mankind. So I go, Bobby, that's an awesome freaking mannequin. And Bobby looks, and Bobby goes, holy shit, that's incredible. That looks like we thought it was. Even he thought it was like, oh, legit, because he hadn't moved. He was just like sitting there, like zoned out. And it wasn't until he literally just like moved like this. He moved slowly, like very slowly. And I was like, oh, it's really Mick Foley. Like we freaked out. We're like, oh, like he sat there motionless, staring off into space. I want to say for 5-10 minutes until we came back from commercial break.
Oh, crap.
And I was like, wow, it's really him. It's like, because it's like who can sit that still? Like I've only seen cats do that, like a cat can live with them, nothing forever. That's the only time I've seen that. So it's like, oh, it's really him, and everything. So yeah, and then we're doing all these like silly wrestling moves and everything like that. And then so I had mentioned the ring had no give, and it was a boxing ring. So I used to do like this forward roll jumping, diving headbutt thing in my younger days. I like roll, jump, and headbutt. So I do it, and I go to headbutt the damn dummy. And again, I told you it was like super mushy. So as soon as my head touches the dummy, it like literally mushed the dummy down, and I hit my forehead right on that freaking boxing ring. Oh, rung my bell.
Oh man,
so bad. I was like, oh Jesus, and I did it on live TV. So my segment was on live because not everybody's was. I did the segment on live TV, and it was like bang. I was like, oh my god. Actually, our wrestling buddy Mad Whipper Whip was the one that won it and everything like that. He took a pot shot at our one friend, our friend the Musketeer. He wound up in ECW and part of Simon Diamond's group. He was from our school and everything like that. So like they only showed Musketeer's ring promo, and he goes, "Villains beware and fear the Musketeer." And Foley like totally ripped him when he goes, "I don't know about you guys, but I don't fear the Musketeer." I was like, "Oh my god!" It's like just as he totally shot Roger down. Like
shot him down in the head.
You ruined the gimmick right there.
Yeah, oh my god, he just burned him. He absolutely burned him. But then then it's funny because speaking of burn, as I mentioned, it was this hot summer day, so we're out there for hours because we did the promos, and then we had to go back outside. So we were there. TRL typically didn't start till 4, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
We had to be there at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Jeez.
So we were sitting out there lined up since 8 o'clock in the morning in wrestling gear. And then, mind you, it's that summer day and that sun's moving. So in the beginning of the day, we were okay. Come lunchtime and beyond, the sun is now, if you know where the building is, the sun is now on the side where the entrance to MTV is. So now it's beaming on us. So the other funny thing about me was by the time I got in there into the building to do TV, and luckily because of the lights, it didn't show. But like, since the sun was heat, my this side of my face was on the side of the building. This side of my face was the side of the sun. By the time we went inside, I looked like Two-Face. I was sunburned halfway.
Oh,
I was sunburned on my right side and fine on my left side. So I looked like Two-Face. I was like, oh, this is great. Like, awesome. I got this whole one red side, arm, face, everything, and this side's pale. Perfect. Tremendous.
You just needed the coin, and that was it. You would be like,
oh my god, I should have changed my gimmick in an instant. Got some crazy freaking suit, and started doing this. I might have won. No, but our friend Whip won and everything like that, and Mankind Mick really liked him and everything like that because Whip was like this really tall dude, and he just was like a crazy tall guy, like just out of his mind. And he was kind of like inspired by Foley in different ways. So like his promos were never coherent or made sense and everything like that. And then he starts telling Mick, "Are you my dad? Are you my dad?" And Foley goes, "I don't know. You just might be." So there was that one. Yeah, that was another fun time.
Yeah.
And everything. What about you, Joe? You got any questions for me?
Oh, I got tons. You know, I've known you for like forever.
Go for it.
Wrestling besties, yay! It's two of us here. No, Foxy's sleeping, so air pinkies.
Air pinkies.
Air pinkies. So like, what did you ever have like a really bad like a crowd reaction like when your first appearance when you ever did your first show?
No, I did. There was not necessarily me, but more so Foxy. We had one comment that like literally crossed the line. And again, wrestling, you got to be thick-skinned and everything like that. But then there is the occasional moment that it's like, whoa, pump the brakes, too far. And ironically, it was at an NYWC show.
Wow.
So we're coming out. I think this is when they had that kid with us for like the one show. Like he was like the goth pirate guy. I can't remember his name. Good kid though. But anyway, there was that camp, that summer camp that was there as special guests in the front row. And this is gonna get a little the language is gonna get a little strong here, and it's not because
it's rated M anyway. So
so again, you know, thick skin. I've heard so many stuff. I used to get called Damian Drag Queen in the Elks Lodge and all that. This is what it is. Not a big deal. But we're coming to the ring. So these kids, and like they're probably no more than 9, 10, maybe 11 years old. Max. And they're just saying the most outlandish things ever. Like you should not hear a kid say. But then there was one comment that completely crossed the line. This one kid literally yells to Foxy, and I am not mincing words here. This is exactly what this about 9, 10-year-old kid said. He yells at Foxy, "You need to let me fuck you and come in your ass so your ass can grow."
What?
And it was like, whoa! And like we broke cake, like, oh. And like I'm looking, and they're there with like adults and camp counselors and everything. We're like, yo, like pump the brakes, okay? Like one, regardless of it being like if any fan, it's still like pump the brakes, you know. But you're like 9, 10 years old. That is not cool. And the fact that you're here as the camp counselors and you're not putting this in check, that's a problem.
Yeah.
So we do the match, and like I get in the ring, and mind you, we're babyface, but I'm hot. Like she's pissed, and I'm pissed. Like I'm legitimately hot, but I'm trying to stay in the match, but I'm pissed right now because of that. And you know, I let the ring announcer know. I said, let them know in the back, and I told him, I whispered him the deal and like that, and he's pointing. I said, the kid's right there. He says, okay. So we go to the back locker room. Was it Wayne and Mikey had already gotten word about it, and they came through when we came to the curtain, they were standing there. So what happened? And I was suddenly just point out again, they eject, and that's why they ejected that summer camp group, because it got too, I was like, yo, that's too much. You know, it's one thing you come, you enjoy the show, you say what you say, but there's a line, you know, and it's definitely a line when you're like 9, 10 years old and you say something like that, and it's like, that's not cool. Like,
yeah, crazy, man. What the hell?
Yeah, dude, what the hell? That's like worse.
Yeah, and like to hear that from a 9, 10-year-old, it's like one thing if you hear it from like a beer swilling guy in the audience, whatever. It's still not cool, but it's a grown man. Okay. When you hear that, you look over, it's a 9, 10-year-old kid. It's like, whoa, hold on. Adult supervision here, folks. Adult supervision.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ECW Ring of Honor crowds have gotten rough, but like, damn, hearing that from a kid, that's crossing the line.
That was like really out there. That was probably the most out there comment ever. I mean, not all matches have ever gone like swimmingly, but like in terms of like whatever, that was probably like the worst like thing I had ever heard. In terms of reaction, I've never really had. I mean, I'm not saying I was always over. I never, beginning of the indies, whatever like that. I did the best I could, or whatever like that. Luckily, matches were still decent and everything like that, which is why it was felt I could work the indies, because that was the thing. Like, our first indie bookings came through Johnny, and he didn't take us unless he felt we were ready to be out there and everything like that. Where some guys kind of like they take some training and they leave and they go and they start doing a thing, and you don't really have. But Johnny was our first outside bookings. He would get shows booked through people, and he would bring some of us when he felt we were ready. So luckily, he felt I was good enough to be out there. So I mean, I never really I learned lessons. I definitely learned like lessons along the way. Like the very first time I worked the Elks Lodge, and I worked that building for years. But the very, very, very first time I worked the Elks Lodge, I worked a guy that was on the indies at the time called the Shark Attack Kid. Guy was phenomenal, and it's a shame. Like if he'd have been around like a little later, I could have seen this guy getting signed. He was good. He was really, really good. But like, I was still getting my feet wet, and I didn't know a lot of things. So like, I at the time, he was going over, I wasn't, and it was so I was a little dejected. But again, I was young and everything like that. So I come to the curtain, I get in the ring, and I'm very serious faced and everything like that. Boom, 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 boom. We did a match, and we have a great match. Come to the back, and I did the typical courtesy things. I knew he had experience. I says, hey, any pointers for me, sir, and everything like that. This is my first. And he goes, no. He goes, look. He goes, I do have. He's like, in ring. He says, everything was great. Everything was fine. Maybe this, maybe that. He goes, but the one lesson I will teach you that I hope you carry on is, regardless, he's like, even if you're losing the match, don't come out looking like you're going to lose the match. Come out like you're fired up and you're going to win this thing. He's like, never come out looking like you're going to lose, because then the people are never going to get behind you, because they were the guy's going to lose, and everything like that, because he looks like he's going to lose. So like that was like the one like really cool lesson I learned like early on in the indies and everything like that. First time I worked the Elks Lodge. So like, again, I picked up a lot of things along the way. It's kind of like on the job training, as they say, on the job training.
Definitely.
100%. Like, you just gotta like make the crowd believe it's real. Like, yeah, like
exactly.
Like the time when Foxy turned on you, I knew it was a character and it was a gimmick, but I would see you guys all the time. And
the funny thing is, like, that storyline bled so hard into real life, because if you guys remember, that's when like message boards and everything were just starting out and everything. I mean, and she and I used to take like a brow beating on the DOI message board and other boards and all like that. So much to the point, and we had like, when we had our first son, and we had mentioned this recently, when we had our first son, we only told a couple of close people, very small. Within a couple of short hours later, it was on the DOI message board that, she had the baby and everything like that, and the kid wasn't mine. Mind you, we hadn't gone public with it or anything like that, and it was like, oh, okay, and we kind of deduced down to where it came from and everything like that, and it was like, oh, okay, well, we know who we can't trust anymore. But it was like, we used to take a pounding on message boards and everything like that, but it was funny because it helped us in other places when we started working individually, because it was like, all right, we've been doing the Disturbed Dreams thing. I think we did it for almost 5 years. I think we ran it for almost 3 to 5 years. And that's a long time to run a duo act like that, and everything like that. But it was like, all right, I think it's time we got to mix it up a little bit. And again, that split helped us out. So when we worked over in cyberspace, Derek Gordon brought us in, and he was like, hey, I want to okay this with you, because he spoke about it on his thing recently. And he was like, I want to okay with it. Are you guys okay with this? Because I see the stuff they're saying. And we were like, look, man, we know what we got. That's just words on the internet or whatever like that. You want to push the envelope? Let's push it. Let's do it. And he was like shocked. He's like, really? It's like, dude, this is wrestling. This is a gimmick. We know what we are in real life and everything like that. And let's push the envelope. So you'll actually see, it's on YouTube. The one bit we did, it was the Billy Hawk Memorial Show. And they have the backstage vignettes and everything, and the match and the whole 9 yards. And then at the end of it, like Scampy comes in, he helps jump me, and then Barry comes out and saves me. Funny thing to that one, there's even a funny story. There's 2 funny stories to that one, actually. See, as you guys ask questions, here comes the stories. So, we had to do backstage promos leading up to it, telling the story. So it was like it was really risque, like further than what you guys saw at NYWC. They made it more risque than NYWC. So it starts out where like she's there taking pictures and everything like that. So I come in and I'm like, hey, I've been trying to talk to you. And she's like totally avoiding me. She don't want to talk to me. And she's like, there is no us. Blah, blah, blah. And she walks to she goes, ladies' room, and bang, she closes the door on me. And I'm like, all right. So then cut to the next part of it. She actually comes out of the med room. She's like, stop, I'll see you later. And she's like fixing her dress and everything to kind of innuendo what just happened behind closed doors and everything. So I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? And I come following her, and she goes behind the door. So here goes crazy moment number 1. It was at this building, like there was all these different sections, but there was like these deck doors that had like little glass windows in it. So she closed the door, and I get mad, and I just went to like make the sound, but my palm actually broke the glass. I went, bang!
Oh,
I cut my hand and everything. I was like, oh shit! And I broke the glass, and I was like, and then of course all the boys, and it's right by the locker room, so all the boys are like, ooh, because I broke the glass. I was like, oh shit! So we come out, and then the guy I'm working that night, Eric Andretti, like he's like, oh, what kind of man? So she comes out and manages the guy I'm wrestling. We have our match. So, boom. Then finally, in comes Scampy to cause the disqualification because they wanted to. Derek Gordon was smart because he knew a lot of people since the tri-state area had become so connected with indie wrestling. So what was going on in New York, people knew in New Jersey and so forth. So that's why he wanted to intermingle the angle. And since he used NYWC people and everything like that, it worked very well. So Scampy comes in, boom, 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 they jump me. So they put me on the ring apron on the outside, and they double handcuffed me, kind of like what they did with Raven and ECW. They basically had me on the ring ropes. So here's number 2 now from this. Foxy's reading me the riot act, bop, 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 and gives me a kendo stick. Now, gives me a kendo stick shot on the head. Now, mind you, I'm handcuffed, so I can't protect myself. I'm like, this is my wife. She's not going to hurt me. Hits me square right here, bang, and it bounces and hits me right in the collar. Goes, oh, shit. Like she waffled me. I was like, oh, like I saw the when the initial shot came, I saw the white flash that when you get hit hard, I was like, whoa, I was like, whoa, Jesus.
Gee.
So now because typically when you get hit on something, you want to immediately grab it. You're like, oh, I can't grab it. So I'm like, Jesus Christ. Dan Barry slides in, cleans house, boom, 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 boom. So the referee is supposed to have the keys to the handcuffs in his pocket. Guess what he doesn't have?
The keys.
He doesn't have the keys. So now I'm hanging. So Dan is like literally, you see, Dan is literally like trying to help me back up to alleviate the pressure from the cuffs on my wrist because they're cutting into my wrists now.
Oh,
and he's like trying to pick me up a little bit. He's like, oh, Jesus. I was like, oh, my God. So I'm in the cuffs, I think, for about a good minute to 2 minutes, which felt like an eternity. Oh, yeah. They hurt. I've had kendo stick pain since my karate days. But finally get the keys. Get me on her, come back. I can finally put my hand on my head because I'm like, oh, my God, she rung my bell. I come to the curtain. And I'm like, where's my wife? And I find her like in a corner behind like this. Because she knew she waffled me and she felt so bad. She was standing up. She thought I was gonna yell at her and scream at her. Because she was standing in the corner like this. She's like, oh my God. I was like, no. I was like, you hurt like hell, but Jesus Christ. I was like, are you really mad at me? What the hell? Flash forward, if you look at early pictures, when I first started shaving my head, I used to have a cyst right over here where you see like the little scar area. I used to have a cyst here when I first started shaving my head. And the first time I shaved my head, I was like, oh, yeah, boom. And I remember like a blast. What the hell is that? So I'm like, what is this bump? It's the cyst. Years later, we figured out the cyst came from the kendo shot. And that's how I got the cyst. Was from the kendo shot. Oh. And then so that was the story of like all those pictures I had years ago when I used to have the bump right over here. Yeah, that was courtesy of Foxy. We deduced it because we were going through our old pictures once, and it's literally a picture of her like in mid-action hitting me. And I was like, bingo, there it is. That's how I got it. And her like that.
If you can find,
if you guys remember when they cut my hair at NYWC, and I shaved it down, there was no bump. I had no bump yet. Everything was fine. It was smooth. And then that's where it came from. Apparently, that's where the bump came from. So see, as I said, when you guys ask questions, the stories will pop.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen Dan Barry recently in AEW. That he's
the only 2 times I've watched it was when Dan was on. It's the only time I watched it.
But
I take that back. I did watch. I watched the parts on the Brody Lee thing, especially because I know John Silver. I've wrestled John Silver. I've wrestled Alex Reynolds. I've wrestled all those guys. So I did watch like certain things for that. I did watch because it was such a big deal. But in terms of actual, other than that, I've only watched the last 2 weeks in a row for Dan. That was it.
I mean, I thought he retired though, and then he came back. That's crazy.
I think that's what it's like. He slowed down, He slowed down and everything like that. If you guys have never seen his comedy stand up, they're on YouTube. He is hilarious. His stand up comedy act is hilarious. If you've never seen it, you guys got to see it. It's so funny. He's so good. So
I was mentioning this to Dickie. I said they should try to bring back Team Tremendous, bring back Scampy.
We lost touch with Scampy. I mean, Scampy, like, after he got married and everything like that, like, he just cut all social media, everything. Yeah. Because after NYWC, after, like, me, Foxy, and him and Dan were, like, phased out, and, we were phased out, me, Foxy, and Scampy started hitting the roads together. And Scampy and I worked tag team matches all the way up in like Rhode Island, Boston. We were going all over working as a tag team. We were doing this gimmick Team Zero. So we were either doing a trio or we were just doing a tag team depending on where we went. And I didn't like that. But then a little while after that, he just kind of, we lost touch, unfortunately. But Scampy is one of the greatest friends in the business I ever had. Like, there's not a lot of people you can trust in the business because it's the wrestling business, but Scampy is like, Scampy is one of the greatest people I've ever known. Same thing with Dan. Dan and Scampy probably two of the guys we used to like crack each other up so much. Actually, another story for you. Scampy and I,
there we go with the stories.
Scampy and I, when we first started teaming up, people used to hate working with us, only not necessarily in the ring. They hated working with us having to plan a match in the back because we started doing this thing where we would just like talk nonsense, and it made sense to us, but everybody, the other people in the match would be like, and Foxy knew what we were talking about, but everybody else would be so lost. So we start doing it. So say Scampy and I are working, you guys. All right, so we're gonna get in the ring, right? We're gonna come in. We're gonna start with the universal, tackle, drop, belly. Boom. I'm gonna give you the gimmick and the sabi dabi. Boom, boom, boom. I'm gonna tag him. I'm gonna give ga 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 ga. We would call the whole match like that. That's how we would call the match.
Wow.
You had your own language basically.
And people were just like, and we would like do the movements and everything, and we would talk like that, and people go, what the hell did they just say? What did they just say?
What's going on?
And that's how we would call matches. And then I don't know if you guys remember the NYWC show, the very first one him and I tagged when I was Goth Rod and he was still doing the Fisherman Scampy thing.
Yeah.
If you guys, I don't know if you guys remember the intro or not. We ribbed the ring announcer and it wound up sticking. And like that, because they wanted to stick us as a tag team, like an on and off tag team. So they wanted us to have a name and all this stuff. And Scampy and I were never really like, we were serious about what we did. We just, here I was, now Disturbed Damian dragging, thinking he's Goth Rod. And then you've got the mentally impaired fisherman. How serious of a tag team name or anything can you do with this? You know, there's nothing serious about this.
Nothing.
So Scampy goes, I got it. Don't worry about it. He takes the ring announcer's card, writes down the information, gives it to him. This is what you write. He goes, don't worry, you'll like it. This is us. Okay, let's see where this goes. So it's on the DVD. I have it. The ring announcer gets in the ring. So he announces the heel team, and he goes, coming to the ring next. And he completely breaks kayfabe, says it loud on the microphone and everything. He goes, really? They're serious with this. Okay. He goes, weighing in at a total combined weight of I don't know, coming from I don't care. The tag team of Fish and Chips.
Was it Jason that was the announcer back then, or was it somebody else?
I think it was Jason.
He was on a podcast.
He was on a podcast. Like
I think it was Jason. But anyway, so but he was like, "Are they serious with this?" It's like, yeah. So we were from weighed in at I don't know, came from I don't care, and we were Fish and Chips. And then at that time, Kaiju Big Battle started becoming the big thing on the VHS tape. So we got really hooked into it to the point like we wanted to get in it. And I actually have a friend who like works for them now. Had we known then, we would have gotten in. But we were like, dude, I want to do Kaiju Big Battle and put on the stupid suits and everything. So we got it. We stole this move and we did it at NYWC from the tag team that they had there called Los Plátanos. So they used to do that thing, you know, they grab one guy laid down and he grabbed his partner's ankles and pick up his feet, and the other guy grabbed, and they basically do like the wheelbarrow forward thing. They kind of roll in a circle, and the last guy jumps up and does a clothesline. If you guys remember us doing that, that's where we got it from. Kaiju Big Battle. We got it from Kaiju Big Battle.
I remember everybody chanting at Scampy, we want fish sticks or something like that all the time.
Oh yeah, we want fish sticks.
That was,
you know, like Scampy and I have quite a few stories. Him and I had some fun stories. We went to Rhode Island and everything like that, and the guys there they'd known us for years and they liked us, and that's why they brought us up. And we were working to tag team champions and everything like that. And the way Team Zero worked two different ways. If we were heels, it worked like we were like an obnoxious like party crew, like, you know, clubbing, Vegas, drinks, booze, sex, rock and roll, and all that. If we were baby faces, we did it as ourselves, because if anybody that really knows Scampy or didn't know, me, her, and Scampy are big comic book geeks, huge comic book geeks. We'd see each other at Comic-Con every year and like that. So we were like, we'll just be dorky Comic-Con us. We'll just be dorks. We'll be nerds. You know, that will be basically what the Nerd Herders are, is what we were. We were the Nerd Herders. We were the first version of the Nerd Herders. Like to the point where like our we used to wear shorts. We made it kind of look. I made them look like the X-Men uniforms. They had like the yellow stripes with silver and everything. We had like Wolverine stripes. It didn't matter. It was really cool. So we used to do this thing. Have you guys ever heard the metal version cover of Justin Timberlake's "Sexy Back"?
no.
Oh, it's good. It's on Spotify. It's a metal version of "Sexy Back," and it comes out, "I'm bringing sexy back." Like, and it's funny because like you hear that bam, you actually hear the beat, and you realize, and everybody used to hear it and go, "Is that Justin Timberlake's Sexy Back?" Like it would like everybody would it's like, "That's Sexy Back," and it was. So we would be behind the curtain waiting to go out. What's up? So we would be behind the curtain waiting to go out. But we would kind of like just have some fun and pump ourselves up. So just to show you what it looked like behind the curtain, and the guys booking the show, again, they knew us. So they knew the team we were working were like, what the hell? They're like, this is just them. This is how to get ready for matches. So the song's hitting. It's not our time, but we're behind the curtain going, and we're like just grooving. We're just grooving to it. And we're gyrating. And this is all happening behind the curtain just to kind of get ourselves into it. And then we come running out, We go all over the place and everything. And then I used to mess with him. Like we used to do the come around about high five everybody.
Like
so
the
thing. And I would go underneath him, and he goes, "Oh, you would have to like tippy toe over me." He's like, "You jerk," and everything like that. And then we go to the back. They were like, "What the hell was all the dances?" It's like, and the promoters and everything, they were like, "Look, that's just them, and that's why we brought them." He's like, "Look, they're good workers in the ring. Just don't pay attention to anything else they do outside the ring, because it's like what they do very well in the ring, and they make it work." No, we did not ever wind up doing kaiju big battles. I probably could have if I want to, but my body can't take it now. Like I said, I didn't. One of my Gleason's wrestling buddies actually is he's the Dust Bunny in it, and he works closely with them. And he's like, "Oh, if you guys wanted to," I was like, "Well, if I'd known years ago when my body was able to handle it, yeah, we would have done it because we wanted to do kaiju big battle. We really wanted to do it. We were like, yeah, put me in some stupid suit, and we could do real wrestling and freak everybody out, because like." These guys would get in there and just do anything. Like, so now imagine you get actual indie workers in there doing it. It'd be great. So we did that. We worked a 2-show deal or whatever over here where he was heel, I was baby. It built up to a 6-man tag main event. It was Scampy teamed up with, Scampy got lucky. Scampy got teamed up with, Little Guido and Al Snow and everything like that. And I got teamed up with the 2 kids that were running the show. He got teamed up with the names. But it was okay, fine. But I can't find the match for the life of me, which turned out to be a good match now and everything like that. But what I wish I had recorded more than the match was actually just the planning of it behind the scenes with Al Snow, because I have never laughed so hard putting a match together with anyone. Like Al Snow, number one, was telling like the most riotous like stories from his days and everything like that, from his shows and experiences, and we was dying. So Snow gives Scampy the nickname Kid Voila. He just started calling him Kid Voila for some reason. So he's like, all right, because you always let the veteran carpenter the match. You let the veteran plan the match, which we did, and I knew Guido for years, but even still, I worked Guido a couple times, knew Guido for years, but I was like, you guys are the vets, you guys do. So Al Snow plans the whole match, and he goes, first we're gonna start. Our Kid Voila is gonna come in, and then, he says whatever, similar to what we do, but he starts starting to say things, and he goes, and then Kid Voila is gonna get shut down, boom, 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 boom. Then I'm going to get the hot tag like a house of fire. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to hit the bald guy. I'm going to hit this kid. I'm going to hit this kid right in his pimple. And then the bald guy is going to come over to me and he's going to hit me unnecessarily hard in my back. And I'm going to go, ow. It was just stuff like that. It was like, but yeah, he's like Scampy and he's like, then I'm gonna tag Kid Voila, and he's gonna come back in like nothing happened, like another house of fire flying off the rope like Superman. It's just like, what are you? And I was like, man, I thought Scampy and I were bad.
Al Snow's coming on our podcast.
That's gonna be great.
I freaked out that day. I got the message. I got the email when I was at Key Food, sitting there on the bench outside Key Food, at Birds tweeting, and I'm just like, email.
It's like, and he asked him, he's like, what's the time and date? And Joe's like freaking out, like. And
I have a joke thing with me and Geek outside the podcast. I go, someone says something on my phone. I go, calendar, and the calendar. Usually like right next to me on the floor. Like I leave the calendar on, but it's like its little bed. It sits next to me on the bed on the floor, and I'm with my hand in front of my hand. Someone says, "I want to come on the podcast on so and so date," and I'm going, calendar.
Yeah,
calendar.
When the man asks for the date, you give him the date.
It's Mr. Snow, baby. That's the snowman. Like,
exactly. Then there was one time him and I were teaming. Scampy actually saved my life at the end of the match. Legitimately saved my life. We were working this twin bodybuilder tag team, 2 blonde-haired guys. They're about our height, but like they jacked up bodybuilder guys. They were doing like a German gimmick and everything like that. They used to come out with a noose for some reason.
Ooh.
So we were, and I had just gotten my my ear project done, which is this bar here, you know, and everything like that. So I was like, hey, you know, I could, and then being I had just gotten it done, I couldn't take it out yet. I literally had just got. I was like, okay, guys, I was like, look, just one favor, please, just. I'm cool with anything. Just do me a favor. Just watch. Just don't hit me in the ear, please, because that will fucking hurt. You know, because I literally just got a pierce. You know, you just do this and it hurts. You know, it's like still swollen. So I said, look, anything else, I'm cool with. I don't piss him on about being hit. Just please, just don't hit my ear. That's the only thing I'm asking is don't hit my ear. And God rest his soul, Bowles Mahoney was there that night too, and he was, he watched and he was ready to go to war for us afterwards. But so we have this match, and these guys are stiff as hell. I mean, stiff. You know, I can't remember their names, but like again, just two juiced up jack guys, blonde hair. And you know, after a while, Scampy and I are like, all right, there's only so nice we can be, and we started kind of getting a little hot. So we was getting a little snug with them because these guys was just like two stiff boards, and everything they hit hurt. So I don't remember the finish in the match, but what the promoter wanted was, you know, they jump us, they dump Scampy, and they give me the noose thing over the rope, which, you know, you've seen in wrestling 1,001 times. This is all right, no big deal. Glom us, boom, 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 boom. As they go to attack me. Now, what did I tell you? What did I say? I asked them not to do before the match started.
Touch the ear.
Don't touch the ear. Boom. Square in it as I'm in the middle of a cell. Like, hits me square in it. So, and then it's bleeding too. Now it's bleeding. It's like, because again, it's fresh. So it's freaking bleeding. My ears ringing, and it's like, ba-boom, 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 ba-boom. I'm like, oh my God. And if you've ever been hitting in the ear solid, like that'll rock your world. If you've ever been hitting the ear really good. They put the noose on me. They go to throw me over. I go over, no problem. The noose, see, the thing is, these guys didn't know. They looked on the internet how to make a noose, and they did it. They didn't realize there's a way to gimmick it. And then Scampy is legitimately a documented genius. For those of you that don't know, like regardless of the fisherman gimmick, Scampy's a legitimate genius. Like he once stole like an anatomy book from his dentist's office just because he wanted to read it. Like Scampy's a genius. I'm not kidding. Like the term, absolute genius. But anyway, so these guys looked on the internet how to make a noose. So they made a real noose.
Oh,
What?
shit.
So when they threw me over, right away the noose went whap, like snapped right into place. So hard and so fast. And I know my defensive I couldn't get my fingers in. That's how tight it was. So I was legitimately being hung. So I'm like struggling out of my voice to call Scampy to freaking come help me because these guys aren't listening because they're doing their damn gimmick. So I'm like, and he finally comes in. I mean, and if you guys remember seeing Scampy's hands, Scampy is an engineer for the Long Island Railroad. Scampy got some big hands. So then he just went, boom, boom. He started clubbing. He hit him with chairs. He didn't give a shit. Boom, and he got the noose off me. I had the mark around both sides of my neck and everything like that. Come to the locker room, and Scampy's hot, and we're really cool with Balls. I knew Balls for years. Balls was pissed. He goes, what the fuck was that? I was just, wow. What the, you know, we doing toes. And then Scampy looks at the rope. He goes, you dumb fucks. And Scampy's usually like chill. He goes, you dumb fucks. You could have freaking killed him. This is a freaking real noose. Yeah, he says, no, stupid. He goes, what you made was a real noose. If you want to make a gimmick noose so it stays loose, you don't loop it X amount of times. You loop it 7-8 times so the rope stays loose. It gives the illusion that it's snapping. Because like you seen how you make a noose and it's got like the spiral around? Mm-hmm. If you go like 7-8 times, it keeps the rope loose. So then now it's just a gimmick. You know, so that doesn't really ever tighten because there's not enough like pull to it. Again, mad genius. Scampy knew this. And everything like that. And dude, Balls was ready to waffle these guys, and like, dude, people were pissed. And like that. I think it was the last time the guys ever got booked anywhere.
I can imagine right now.
Yeah, but, oh my god, dude, I mean, I like the cloud, like the like everything was like starting to get black as it was coming in, and I'm standing there, and it's like, and it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. You know, like once you get your oxygen cut off, it don't take long at all. And it's just like, and it's like, but yeah, so yeah, Scampy saved my life on that one.
That's the number one rule of wrestling, I guess. It's like number one rule of wrestling: always protect your opponent, no matter what.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I'm giving you the ultimate trust. I'm giving you my body, okay? Yeah. I'm giving you the ultimate trust, and that's my body, you know. And Lord knows we've seen a lot of things happen that way. And then other fun NYWC story that bled into VPW and everything like that. Everybody seen the movie Waiting, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, you guys know the dick showing game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Barry, Scampy, and myself thought it'd be a good idea to implement it into the NYWC locker room.
Oh no!
So a lot of the times you guys were there, that was going on in the locker room and everything like that. Yeah. Scampy got me good with the goat once. AJ Lee was in the locker room. Thankfully, she didn't see it. Because like I was talking to, and this is before she was AJ Lee, so I knew AJ before she hit WWE. I knew her when she was just starting out, so we were talking, and luckily and so Scampy don't care. So Scampy's like, Dragon. I'm like, 1 second, Dragon. So she finally goes away. He goes, hey, did I sit in gum? And he turns and he gave me the goat. And I was like, ah!
Oh shit!
Like, Jesus Christ! God damn.
I got.
And the real concept, and we would do the kicks in the asses for whatever you got caught with and everything. Yeah, we introduced the waiting dick show game to the NYWC locker room.
Oh God, I can imagine. Oh God,
I got Spiffy to watch that movie.
And and those that know, Scampy was very blessed. Let's just put it that way. Very, very blessed. Baby's arm holding an apple.
Oh God.
Yeah, that wasn't a gimmick in them yellow tights. Mikey used to yell at him because Scampy refused to wear anything underneath it, and he would warm it up before he went out.
Geez.
I would stand next to him sometime, like we're getting ready to go out, and I would look over, and I'm like, yeah, I see his hands doing this, side to side. What are you doing? He's like, I'm warming it up, making it presentable. I'm going, what the hell, man? And he looks and goes, hey, man, I'm ugly. This is the only thing I have, okay? Let me get Scampy goes, I'm ugly. This is the only thing I got.
I think you just killed Joe right there.
All right. Can't argue there. This is okay. And then he got Mikey once. I did a couple of shows here in Jersey. He got Mikey once. Mikey purposely bought him an undergarment thing so he could hide it because Scampy's tights, the yellow short biker shorts you wear, they were getting old. So they were getting a little transparent. And so he comes up, he puts it on, and he comes up to Mikey. Now Mikey's sitting in a chair and Scampy's standing up. So Mikey's eye level. Mikey's at eye level right now. He says, Mikey, is this good? Mike goes, oh, Jesus Christ. He goes, you're better off wrapping that thing around your neck 3 times. So, for those of you wondering the origins of the Team Tremendous name, that's where Dan Barry and Ken Scampy got it from, because they're both.
Oh, jeez.
The story of the Team Tremendous name is that.
It's not PG. Not PG.
That's where the Team Tremendous name comes from. The both of them.
Yeah, the funny thing when we did this show with Dickie, the name that popped up in the whole conversation, and actually a story came out about we started talking about Tara, and they said she went to training one day and then she just disappeared. She like fell off the map, and I was like, wow.
See, I don't know what happened there. Well, you guys throwing beans out there against you again. You guys got stories. Love Tara to death, sweetheart. I loved everybody in NWC. It was no secret. Everybody knew like Scampy and Tara were going out for a while.
Yeah.
And everything like that. But it got to the point Scampy didn't want to date her no more. So I was like, okay. Well, and you were like, all right. He's talking to me and Foxy because we were close. And he's like, well, at least tell her, and everything like that. He goes, oh, don't worry about it. So, I forgot how they were going out to do a match. They were going out. She's managing Barry and Scampy, or she's managing Scampy. This is when she was with them. And the heel team goes out, and then they're about to go out, and Foxy and I are on deck. We're at the next match. So we're all behind that curtain. Kid you not. I kid you not. And it's a sad story, but it's so bad. She goes, does the thing with Danny. Goes, all right, Terry, good luck out there and everything. Have a great match. By the way, don't want to go out with you anymore. See you out, because his music already hit. He goes, by the way, don't want to go out with you anymore. See you out there. She's like, the music hit. So he already walked out to the curtain, and she's got to follow now. He just dropped the bomb. He literally just broke up with her. 2 seconds before she had to walk out of the curtain. We were just like we were all standing there like,
shit.
Did that just happen? I think Mikey was standing there, and everybody was like, did he just freaking do that? So they go out to come match. The moment I felt so bad for her. Okay. The moment she comes to the curtain, she breaks down crying. We was like, oh my god. And I was like, I kind of reamed him out. I was like, dude, like that was messed up. I was like, come on, man. He goes, I got tired of it. I couldn't do it no more. I said, but you didn't have to do it that way. That was messed up. I said, when you're messed up. He goes, well, I figured if I did it that way, I didn't have to get stuck in a conversation. She couldn't say nothing back. We had to go out.
That's messed up.
I was like, bro, come on. So, yeah. So that was, oh, God. Yes. Scampy's, but again, I love that guy. I miss him so much. I miss him every day. I still got my Skin Scampy shirt upstairs and everything. I love him so much. I said I trust him with the world and everything like that. I went through a hard time. My wife and I went through a hard time together. And let me tell you, one of the most solid friends we had while she and I were going through our hard times together was Scampy. Scampy was when I was being an idiot young in our marriage and everything like that, he let me know in the middle of the ring. There was it was actually the show where she turned on me. The show where she turned on me, he legit punched me in the jaw, and he apologized for it. He apologized for it before he hit me because he knew he was going to hit me on purpose. But again, that's how tight we were. Like whenever one of us was being stupid, he would let us know we were being stupid. And so he brings me back. He goes, sorry. Boom! Tags me square right on the jaw. My jaw literally went sideways. I went completely sideways and popped back in. To this day, my jaw occasionally, depending on what I'm doing or just out of the way, my jaw will literally unhinge for a hot second, and it'll click back in. Like my jaw literally gets stuck like to the side, and I gotta pop it back into place, and it's because of Scampy. And every time I do it, I go, "Fucking Scampy!" So that's my memory piece, my memorial piece of Scampy for the rest of my life is my jaw unhinging and I had to click it back in.
Yeah, jeez.
But definitely one of the best dudes ever. I mean, so many fun road trips, so many hanging out, just generally great dude, awesome guy, better than anybody. And again, let's say one of the most trustworthy people ever in the business ever. But yeah, so those are my Scampy stories. Yeah. Anybody else got anything now? Questions? Yeah. Anybody?
Any stories from Mason Rage?
Mason was a sweetheart of a guy. I loved Mason. I have nothing bad to say about Mason whatsoever. Loved Mason to death. Like, I mean, I always felt he, with more experience and time, he'd have been amazing. And I don't see why he couldn't have gone the distance. Absolutely love Mason Rage. Like, he's one of those cases of, like, this big giant guy and he's like a huge teddy bear. That was Mason. So soft-spoken, such a nice guy, respectful, everything. Absolutely great guy. Anybody else?
Any MAGA stories? The big
Mega?
guy. Yeah, Mega stories.
Mega, same thing. Cool dude. I only got to work Mega once, and that was when I returned without the Disturbed gimmick, and I worked Mega and Nana. That was when I returned finally after like being gone for months. We only worked the one time, and then I started working ECWA, and he was there for a couple of months still because he was in ECWA way longer before Kettner sold it. So he was still working there for a couple of months, and then he was gone. But he recently did Boogaloo's podcast, and I sent him a shout out, and he's like, "Oh, Dragon." But
I think I was watching that. So
yeah, mega, super cool dude. Another one, awesome guy.
I remember a Grim Reaper story. You remember? There was a Grim Reaper story where I would always be at the shows and ask Grim Reaper for an autograph. He'd be like, "Do you have a pen?" I'm like, "No, I'm sorry." And he'd be like, "Sorry, you're not getting my autograph then."
Reef, I know Reef for a long time. Reef's a super cool dude. I do have an NYWC Reefer story. Okay, so there was the Fatal 5-Way we did. It was myself, Reefer, Jay Lethal, Dan Barry, and Quiet Storm. We had that 5-way match. And Reefer used to do that double springboard dive swanton to the outside. So, we're having a stellar freaking match. When Reefer did it, he overshot them a little bit, and his foot hit the guardrail. He broke his foot in that match. And that's why, like, if you go back and watch that match, or if you have memories of it, when he comes in hobbling, he's working the rest of the match with a broken foot. Yeah, completely broke his foot instantly. But Reefer's another cool dude. Love Reefer. Love him to death. Foxy just saw something. They're supposed to be doing a JCW reunion out here, and he's apparently booked for it. I haven't seen Reef in years, but love Reefer. Once in a blue, Quiet Storm and I will shoot messages back and forth because for those who don't know, Quiet Storm's been living happily and wrestling in Japan for years now. Has a son, is redonkulously thick, his arms are huge. His arms are absolutely huge. But yeah, Quiet Storm's been wrestling over in Japan for a long time. Got a wife, got a kid, still doing his thing out there. Loving every minute of it.
We're trying to get in touch with Reefer, but I don't know if he has an Instagram. And
I found him actually. He's wrestling. He's actually still wrestling actually.
You should message him later on. Maybe he'll respond on one of our random days because we still have like some random days. Like we have I think it's September or August. We have like the 2:00 shift, even though Geek's kind of like that's late holiday months. We shouldn't do those. But still, if the wrestlers want us, don't take it away from them. That's what I say to him. Oh, we got somebody.
You got somebody. He wants to have a retirement match with you. Come on, Damian, one more match.
Oh, God, my body would not allow it. God, my body would not allow it. You ever seen remember an episode of Futurama? The mind is willing, but the body is soft and squishy. Did I tell you when I did the one out of retirement? I did one comeback match, not one comeback. I did one special match a year after retirement.
I think you told, but you could tell me.
Yeah, with the bumpy ring and everything. Yeah, after that one, I'm good. I'm done. I'm done. I'm good. Squish the bug that night. Gladly go in and help and teach to a spot. That's it.
Yeah.
No matches.
Take it easy. Take it easy, James, my brother.
No matches.
You know what's funny? If I did ever go into wrestling, I would say this, and you just said no. If I want to become a wrestler, I would ask you to. I would be like, just put me over. Let the crowd get me over, Damian. I know you're hurt, but just like have you and Foxy come in one last time and just like in your gimmick, and have Foxy like slap me in the face and have you do your finisher on me and just put me over, like you get knocked out and let me pin you.
the Hulk Hogan, what was it? The NWO angle.
Finger poke
Okay, you're done. That's it. Okay.
Finger poke dude.
Foxy hit me with a steel chair and it put me on top of you. Okay, like that. I'm so sorry.
Masawa and Kawanda match. Oh man. I don't think.
Oh gosh, I did that one. I did that once with Stryker. Stryker and I's first one-on-one, we did it like that, and I almost knocked him out in the first 30 seconds with an open hand slap. We did this thing because we were teaming, and then we did the breakup. So then we did this whole. He was like USA Pros like secondary champion. I was the New York State Championship. So whoever won like their battle royal type thing faced him at the end of the night. So of course I won. So we get in and we make like he's making like we're gonna high five and people bought it, and then he slaps me. So I go to slap him back. Problem is, again, just naturally the way I throw it like a martial arts strike almost. It's just very natural for me because it comes that way. I smacked him, and I literally almost knocked him out on his feet. He had to roll out, and like the Boogie Nights are kind of holding him up because he's like, I literally like almost knocked him out with an open hand slap. And the rest of the match, we worked that style though. So I had him in the corner, and I'm hitting him with the Kawada clotheslines. And he's a bigger guy than me, but I know how to throw my weight. And I'm like, wham, wham. And every time I'm hitting him, he goes, "Oh, you stiff bitch, you stiff bitch." Every time this is what you wanted to do because we wanted people to buy into the fact that we hated each other. So we were like, all right. See, the good thing is, like, when you work people you like, you kind of go, but when you work, because at the time, him and I were really close at the time. When you start working guys you're really close with, you're like, you tend to lay it in a little bit more because you can get away with it with each other. So we used to lay into each other, and man, oh, dude, so I almost knocked him out with the open hand slap, and then I remember hitting him with the clotheslines. But he got his back on me too. It wasn't like I was on me. He got me too a couple times. It was a rematch at the Elks Lodge. He caught me with one and everything. He nailed me with one good one too. So yeah, it's another fun one.
Actually, you're gonna think this is really cool. A female wrestler from Tokyo actually got in contact with. I messaged her and I forgot, and I did my typical delete the comment because delete the message. The person's not looking, and then the girl messaged us back, and I guess Geek was like, "Joe, who's this person?" And I found out where she's from. I think Geek looked it up, and he's like, "She's from Tokyo," and I'm like, "How are we gonna do a show with her?" I keep looking at the phone, and then I'll be at Geek's house for the 16th. So Geek kind of said to me, why don't we we were talking on the phone. He said, why don't we just do the show at 5:00 in the morning? I said, Geek, you're going to have to pump my ass with coffee. I am a night owl.
Do you want to do this interview, Joe? Come on. Get the coffee and let's go.
What else you guys got for me? What else do you want to know? We're doing good here.
Yeah, we're doing good.
If you ever got a chance to go back in the ring, and you got a chance to go to Japan, would you do it? And they called you back, go to like NJ and won like a bass tournament. Would you ever do it?
Oh, not now. I couldn't.
Not now.
Japan is it's the one place I always wanted to wrestle in Japan. My dream was I always wanted to wrestle there. I never got to. But wrestling in Japan as an American, as a gaijin is not easy, and it's not easy for any of them. It's hard. Because I think I don't know if it was with you guys or with the other interview I did where I talked about when I did the tryout at the New Japan Dojo, and that was just like 2 days. They don't play out there. Like them guys, like it's a harder ring because when I trained in Dory Funk's ring in Florida, Dory Funk had a Japanese style ring, and it's very hard, very, very stiff ring. Stiffest ring I've ever been in is a Japanese style ring. Very stiff. But like when you go out there as a new guy, you have to earn. If you notice the young lions, they don't even have gimmick attire. It's like black boots, black trunks. You have to earn wearing a gimmick and becoming your gimmick for X amount of time. So they deem that you can, if you look back at all the names now at Tanahashi and all of them, when they started out as young lions, it was black trunks, short hair, black boots, and that's it. You went out there and you had to train every day, super hard, set up, sleeping situation. It's guys crowded in not the greatest of sleeping quarters and everything like that just to be a part of this. And it's not easy. So there's like no way I would be able to go there and do that now. I'm in no shape or condition to do that now. Had I done it years ago? Absolutely. Like when I was in like really great shape and I would have taken that torment, I would have taken that torture. Absolutely. But yeah, I'm in no condition to take that. Yeah, New Japan training or any Japanese dojo training is not easy. It's very, very hard. I mean, there's guys that quit. There's guys that quit because they put you through hell. You get put through hell. Because right now, Shibata is the main instructor at the New Japan Dojo in California. And there's YouTube videos. They did a documentary, like I think it's like 5-6 part series on the New Japan YouTube channel. And watch it and see the training that these guys go through. It's no joke, man. It is no joke what they train and they go through. It's not easy. Trust me.
Some of these guys are like really, really good, and they're like still young lions, and I'm like, geez, you know?
Yeah, like I said, if you watch those, but again, if you watch those training videos, it's like, wow, you know. And Shibata is not easy on them. He carries a kendo stick at times, and they get the kendo stick whips, and it's conditioning, and he puts them through hell. He trains them. The way they get trained in Japan is the way Shibata is training them in the New Japan Dojo in California. It's no joke. It is no joke. And there's guys that went there, like that had experience and everything like that, and they were like, I have never been through anything like this whatsoever, ever. And like I said, I mean, I went through it for 2 days. I did it, and luckily I was in good condition, and I made it through to the tryout match and everything like that. And I mean, it wasn't the right timing for me. I mean, I don't know. Did I tell you this, the guys, the New Japan story, or was, again, I don't know if I was Adam I told that.
No, you didn't tell.
Okay, so Boogie and I, we went to California for a week out. We got invited to come up for the weekend tryout for New Japan. Go out there, and the first day is just literally calisthenics and training, and they're basically trying to gas you out and make people drop and quit and everything. And like I said, thankfully I was in good shape because I knew what I was going. I had an idea. I'm not gonna say I knew. I had an idea what I was going to do, so I wanted to be in good condition. Thankfully, my cardio was up. That's when I was like very lean and everything like that. And I made it through the first day, and so did Boogaloo. Second day we come back, and it was just like, you know, more the same. But those that made it through, then from that group, they picked guys that they wanted to see in the ring. So they start going around, and I made it through the first day, made it through the second day, and then they start calling names for people they want to see in the ring. And I thought they had said Boogaloo, and I was like, Boogie, they said you. He goes, no, bro. He goes, dude, I'm out of gas. He goes, like, Boogie was like, I can't do it. I was like, I'm done. He goes, I'm out. I can't. I'm done. He goes, but they did call you, so get your ass over there. They called you. So I go over. They put us in tag teams. Shirts off. They said, I want everybody shirts off. They want nobody with T-shirts on. Everybody shirts off. Work a tag team match. And it was more on the fly than anything else. They really didn't want you we want you to work. Okay. Tom Marquez was there at the time. Rocky Marrero was there at the time. And everything like that. So we worked the tag. I'm sorry?
Dana Bryan, was he there too? Or because I remember him too.
Daniel wasn't there. I think this is slightly after Joe had just left, because Joe was a trainer there for a while, because Joe was from California.
Okay.
But so we're there doing the thing. I do the tag match. It was like 4 to 6 minutes. We did very short. They just wanted to see us work. Worked. Decent match. Very cool. So they pulled me on the side, and I knew Dave Marquez from other shows, working NWA and stuff like that, because I worked a couple NWA shows. And they were like, look, we don't want you to take this as a dejection, so we want to offer you this much. Right now, you're not the size that we're looking for, because this is when New Japan was going a little more of a theatrics and cinematic. That period in New Japan time, it was like big entrances and everything was like very glitz and glamour in that period of New Japan. So they were like, look, we're not looking for anybody your size right now, but we want you to walk away with this much. You did fantastic through the tryouts. Like you killed through the tryouts. So your match was great. And they basically said, this is, if we had to compare you to anybody, we would compare your in-ring work to a young Eddie Guerrero. And I was like,
wow.
Like, that blew me away. I was like, what? Like, we would compare you to a young Eddie Guerrero. Again, it's just the unfortunate thing is right now you're not what we're looking for. And it's the same thing like WWE. Like WWE, one moment they're looking for 7-foot guys, then the next moment they're looking for women. It depends on what they're looking for at the moment. So though I did really great, I just didn't fit what they were looking for at that time. But again, I walked away with a hell of an experience. I got to experience what it was like at that time, and to walk away at least knowing work-wise I was developing in the right direction I wanted to be going, and that I was working well and everything, So yeah, that's my New Japan story. But yeah, I mean, if I couldn't handle going now, there's no way. I'm in no shape, condition for it all. I mean, I sleep. I honestly I sleep with aches and pains, and I wake up in pain. I can only sleep so long on one shoulder before it's like too much pain, and then I shift to the other side, and then same thing, other side I get pain to where I eventually have to wind up on my back. Every so often I have to like you guys know the Iron Gym pull-up bar. I have one set up just so I can hang and then occasionally pop my shoulder out, because my shoulder has a tendency to cramp inwards. And the only way I can relieve it is I have to hang and let my shoulder literally pop back out from to give it space again and everything. So yeah, I mean, between that, my ankles, my knees, my lower back, I wrestled my entire career. I wrestled with a sciatic pinched nerve on my right side. And that stems back from the time I was 16 to karate. So I wrestled my entire career with a pinched nerve in my back. That still bothers me today. So yeah, it is. And that was part, like a lot of it, other than family, was also just the last like 2 years. I was just in a lot of pain, like even road tripping, getting in a car, getting out of the car. It's like, I'm like it was hard for me. Like my knees would hurt, my back would hurt. Sitting in a car for so long would become painful that after like the first hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm like starting to fidget in the back seat like a kid. I'm like trying to find a way to get comfortable, but I couldn't because I was in so much pain, utterly so much pain.
So we've been asking a lot of our guests this, and a lot of the newer wrestlers do this. I don't know if you've seen it on like the YouTube. What do you think about like the intergender matches they're doing these days with men and women? What do you think about that?
It's not. I worked them before. I worked them, and it was different back then versus now. Because like ECW, like Bill Alfonso and Beulah. I mean, look at that and everything like that. Like in today's day and age, you can't get away with it too much. I mean, on the indies you can do it, but not so much in a commercial form. Like WWE won't touch it because and everything like that. Like they'll have but like it doesn't bother me. But if you do it in the right. If you do it in the right context where it makes sense and it doesn't really, nobody, trying to word it. For instance, an example, years ago when Sable powerbombed Mark Merrow, it looked ridiculous, because it was like, she was like, weighed how much, and she was rail thin with the exception of what she had going on in front of her chest. And she picks up this 200 plus some odd guy and does a powerbomb. How believable is that?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's not very believable. And one, it's not very believable. Two, what did that do for Mark Merrow? It did nothing for Mark Merrow, and it kind of hurt him. And if you think about it, like it made it like you just got power bombed by like some 110-pound blonde, and you're 200, and you're supposed to be this boxer, and it just But like if you get like certain, if you're doing these intergender matches, if the woman is, I'm not saying it can't be done, but if the woman's got to be believable, you know what I mean? It's got to be believable in some respect, in some aspect. You do a mixed match with like Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler kick somebody's ass.
anybody's ass.
Asuka, Asuka did them in Japan, and I mean, she got laid to waste. Have you ever seen her intergender matches in Japan? And if you haven't,
with Kenny, the ones with Kenny.
No, not with Kenny Omega, with like one of the other Japanese wrestlers, and this guy was not nice to her at all. And she took it, and the guy even raised her hand in it because like he beat the hell out of her. But like, you know, Asuka's another one. You can believe it. You can believe it because you know she's tough, and you know, but like it's got to come off believable. That's the thing. You can't just stick anybody in there with anyone for the sake of having an intergender match. You know, it's got to fit. Like I love Alexa Bliss's work, but let's take Alexa Bliss and then put her in the intergender match with I don't know, say pick somebody tough and badass. You know? Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Like, they did what they did with it. They did what they did with it, and they made it work. But if they had in a real context of a match, would you believe it?
No.
If she was bumping them all over the place, no, because her persona doesn't show that. Now you put Randy in there with like Nia Jax, or you put Randy in there with Shayna. You know, you put Randy in there with Charlotte. I'll buy it a little bit. You know, Ronda Rousey was kind of believable because you know her background. It's believable. But you can't take like a Alexa or a Zelina Vega. Put Zelina Vega in there with Big E.
Not believable.
Not believable at all. You know what I mean? So it's like so that's why. So I don't have a problem with intergender matches. Again, I worked them. I had Foxy as my partner multiple times. I used to do mixed tag team matches with Johnny Rods and everything like that. And so long as you can make it believable, and the girl and the guy make it believable, fine. You know, like I said, I did them with Foxy, but we worked them in a way where, again, it was believable. Because the guy I was feuding with was bigger than her, so he would abuse. But the guy he was teamed with was smaller and thinner. So obviously, all of her major offense came off of the smaller guy because he was about the same build and height as her. And everything like that, you know what I mean? So again, it was believable. And then, moments she would get in trouble, then I would boom, help her out and put her back over, whatever like that. And then the same thing, like that's where it makes it believable. But like, that's the way it works. We did a thing once. I was working Jay Lethal, and Jay used to love working with us. We used to work. So she used to do a really good tornado DDT. Unfortunately, she never got to do it for NYWC, but she does a nice tornado DDT. So Jay, strong guy, she could do it on a guy. If you do the gimmick where the guy is like laid out to waist or whatever like that, and she does it fine, or if the guy's like her size, fine. But Jay was, very well built guy. So, Jay lays me out and everything like that. She comes behind him and she grabs him by the hair and she hooks him for the tornado DDT. So when she goes to jump, he literally like grabbed her and like he threw her off. She lands on her feet and he goes to the clothesline and she ducks and runs away and everything like that. Again, believability,
Yeah.
Because a fresh Jay Lethal taking a DDT from a Foxy makes no sense.
Yeah.
It's not believable. You know what I mean? It's not believable whatsoever. She did this other thing the first time. She took an amazing bump. It's on YouTube as well. The guy I'm feuding with, nails me, whatever like that, and she grabs like his doll. He has like this doll gimmick, and he kicks her and he power bombs her. He didn't stand there and take it from her. She took her and power bombed her, and she was out, and she stayed down, and she got the locker room cleared, and she got carried out. As opposed to kidding up and selling it and walking back, you just got power bombed by a guy like probably about a good 30, 40 pounds on you. You better be getting carried out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You're a small woman, you get power bombed by a guy bigger than you, and you want to walk out like this. I mean, so it's, again, I have no problem with intergender matches so long as it's in the right context and believable. And that goes with any kind of match, anything. It's got to be believable. If it's not believable and it makes no sense, then, it doesn't come off. It never comes off.
We just had a girl on our podcast. She wrestled a guy, and she's big, so yeah. she has a big punch. So when she goes to hit him, it's believable because she's big. Yeah. So,
and it's not necessarily just a girl that's big. It depends on like the gimmick that they portray. Like Candice LeRae when she was on the Indies, she did a lot of intergender matches.
Oh man, I remember like some of the matches
busted open and stuff like that.
Yeah. So like she used to do hardcore matches and stuff like that.
But her work style, even though she's so small, her work style and doing everything that she does balanced it out. You know, she keeps the big guy off balance, keeps the big guy off balance, till eventually she gets caught. She gets caught, then she gets waylaid, then the big guy makes a mistake, and then she starts going again. Finding a way to make it believable. You know, it's just it's the David versus Goliath match, but just done with a man and a woman. You know what I mean? But whereas like you take like an Awesome Kong, you take a Jordan Grace, anybody like that stature or an Nia Jackson, yeah, then you could put them in the ring with a man, and they can kind of go toe to toe. I can see it. Or you take somebody like a Ronda Rousey or Shayna Baszler who have a very well known MMA background. It's believable. You know, you take Asuka, who's known as a super hard striker. You could make it work. You could play with that and everything like that. But you just can't take a random female. You got to know what you're doing and how to play with it. You got to. You know, it's like playing chess. You got to know how to play the game. You got to know how the pieces move and everything like that.
Unless the bitch using her magic was like not really believable with Randy Orton.
I mean, that's a cinematic. I mean, the funny thing is, okay, so everybody picked apart at that. Everybody's like, oh, this whole, and I get it. I get it. We're in a different age. But let's call a spade here. Take the same context. You're going to tell me over the years of wrestling you have not seen hokier stuff than that? Look at about how much of the stuff The Undertaker did. Somebody's trying to get out of the ring, and Undertaker goes like this, and lightning strikes the ring and everything like that. So Undertaker could do that, but Alexa Bliss can't do what she did? Come on. Right or wrong?
Where's that?
100% right. 100% right.
Papa Shango. It was a voodoo gimmick, and he would do stuff to people, and they would, and, you know, the thing he did with The Undertaker, and with Ultimate Warrior, and Ultimate was like, and he had black stuff coming out of his mouth and all like that. How believable is it?
You know what's funny? I think maybe they did it, but they didn't make it a big deal. They never ever had like a gimmick with The Undertaker getting possessed by Papa Shango.
But still, though, it's like, again, look at the stuff that Papa Shango did. Look at the stuff The Undertaker did through the years and all that stuff. You know, even to the most recent, The Fiend, the Firefly Funhouse matches that he had with John Cena. Okay, it was entertaining as hell, but in the context that people are complaining, the Firefly Funhouse match falls into the same context.
It was hokey, is what you're trying to say, right?
John Cena walked into this whole mystical world and everything like that, and he kept getting flashed through different points in his career, and it was a match. But,
you know,
okay. So we can't take that. We can't take that and believe in what Alexa Bliss did. Randy Orton lighting the Fiend on fire, and then the Fiend comes back burnt and everything like that.
With new mask.
Yeah, well, looking like he was burnt up.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you knew it was a gimmick and everything like that because you saw but it was like, so I think it was, I almost want to say it's sexist or whatever because it's Alexa Bliss. But again, look back at that stuff. Undertaker did that stuff. Papa Shango did that stuff. That stuff's been going on for years. You know, it's like I used to work shows with Steve Corino. Steve Corino's like, look, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just putting shiny rims on it. You know, we're doing all the same stuff. We're just changing the way we're doing it. But we're doing all the same stuff. You know, it wasn't the first time I've seen anything like what Shayna Baszler and Alexa Bliss did. I've seen it before growing up in my years. I saw it. I've seen it. You know, and again, if you start picking at it like that, then we might as well pick apart everything. The Ultimate Warrior. What sense does that gimmick make?
None. It's kind of dumb.
I come from. I can't even spout off where he said he used to come from. Parts unknown or whatever, you know.
From far away or something.
The missing link.
Oh God.
What sense? Kamala. You're going to tell me you went to the Uganda and got some savage and brought him over here?
Yeah.
Character nails. oh, some guy from prison is in WWE.
The Mountie.
The Mountie. Down to the Undertaker. We're supposed to believe this guy is undead. This is the undead man. Yeah, this guy's undead.
Finn Balor. Finn Balor.
Finn Balor's demon thing. George the Animal Steel.
Oh my gosh!
It goes on and on and on and on and on.
The baseball players, the hockey players.
Like so in picking apart Alexa Bliss and what they wrote for her, you're just picking apart everything. It's like right now, everybody's hating on the Nikki Cross gimmick, and they're blaming WWE. It was Nikki Cross's idea. And Nikki Cross it's said in her promos why she's doing it. It's not so much a superhero thing, whatever. And they're like, they've ruined Nikki Cross. One, it was her idea, and two, I listened to her promos on why she's doing it. It's not. It's the ideal of being a superhero that she can do anything and everything like that, and makes her feel like she's empowered. And even if she gets knocked down, she gets back up. That's believable. Mm-hmm. She's just using the costume as an outlet of what it is she's trying to express.
Like a metaphor?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She's literally said in the promos, it's a metaphor for what she's trying to express to people. That you can get back up and you can do anything and I can do it and da-da-da-da. Then you go back, again, they complain about Nikki Cross superhero, but then you go back to the Hurricane. Where the Hurricane full on was being a hokey superhero.
Mighty Molly.
And they loved him. How over was the Hurricane? He was so over. And then they had Rosie, and they loved Rosie. And then they had Mighty Molly, and they loved Mighty Molly. So what's the big deal with Nikki Cross in a superhero suit? And even though she's saying that superhero suit is a metaphor for what it does for her and what she wants little boys and girls to feel and people to feel. So again, Alexa Bliss is not doing anything new that hasn't been done. And Nikki Cross isn't either. It's a different generation of fans that see wrestling in a different way and everything like that. And at the end of the day, it's wrestling. It's entertainment. Okay. It was an industry that started out with people watching two grown men practically naked, rolling around and flipping around with each other. Come on, it can't get more ridiculous than that. No, it can't get more ridiculous than that. And again, we watch it because we enjoy it and everything like that. And that's the thing, and no matter how many times I've said it in interviews, you gotta watch it because you enjoy it. Don't really pick apart at it. NXT has a nice blend of it. NXT's got a really nice blend of it and does it very well and everything like that. But I guess Raw is the flagship, and right away it's this, and this, and this. But again,
SmackDown.
Yeah. So everything you're picking apart right now has been done and was the stuff that people cheered and thought was great at one time. So what's the difference? And that's the way I see it. So yeah, what else you got for me? That's my take on the whole Alexa Bliss Nikki Cross thing.
I don't think they have anything else. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
No worries.
We can just sit here in silence.
No, dead air. No, we can't have dead air.
No, we can't. No dead air.
No dead air.
Our old school teacher would tell us that for radio used to tell us no dead.
I even at Key Food, I get so irritated when they go over the PA and it's like, Junior to the deli. Junior to the deli. And I'm packing the truck and I just stop.
Was there something more to what you wanted to say?
I'm like, these motherfuckers just went quiet on the goddamn air and can eat food. Dead air, motherfuckers, as I'm packing the truck in the back by myself. Gun show.
It's a gun show.
Yeah, man. Hide your daughters. Gun show.
Hide your daughters.
Oh, man. And
anything else you guys want to know from me?
I already asked you about the worst crowd. So, what was the worst bump you ever took in the ring?
Worst bump. I would definitely say the like I'm not gonna count the table spot because that's a gimmick thing. That's not really like a bump. One of the probably worst bumps was definitely the one I told you about on the when I came out of I did the special. That was bad. Like that was really really bad. Was coming out of that Spanish Fly in a bad ring because it messed up my back pretty good. Another one, not really a bump, but coming down. I did a frog splash. This is when I was working in Dory Funk's ring. And I told you Dory Funk had a Japanese style ring because he liked the Japanese work style. So that's the ring he wanted. So for those of you who don't know, the American ring, is the metal frame and plywood. Dory's wasn't built that way. Dory's had the metal frame, obviously, but instead of the plywood, he had like thick wooden planks. They were like this thick, this wide, and they went across the thing. They were thick wood planks. And then on top of that, wasn't like a roll-out gymnasium mat or anything. He just had commercial carpet. So commercial carpet and wood has zero give. None. Like, as wrestlers, we tend to slap out. Like slapping hurt because it was so hard and solid. A lot of guys just started using their elbows because to slap with your hands hurt so bad. So the last 2 days after a week of training, we did shows on the Saturday and Sunday. So I worked his main guy because I had the most experience and everything. So we worked the main events for both. And I get him down and I go to do a frog splash. When I came down, I hit I had the AMA pads that were like really good knee pads. But my knee came down so hard that like it felt like something locked up. And I was like, oh God. And I couldn't, my knee swelled out like really bad. And I was like, what the hell happened? And I come back home and I'm doing indie wrestling, but my knee was still bothering me. And I still had some swelling on the lower part of my right kneecap. On the low end, I had swelling. So then I'm working an Elks Lodge show for USA Pro. And they happen to have a chiropractor there that day and everything. And Loki was around too. I mean, Loki and I go way back and we're always very cool. So I tell the chiropractor, I was like, look, he does my back and everything like that. But I was like, he's like, anything else? I said, yeah, my knee. I was like, for the last few months, because I had been back from Florida now for about 3-4 months with my knee bothering me. And I refuse to go to the doctors. Refuse. I hate going to doctors. And the guy tells me to lay down on my front. And he goes, I see the problem. What? When he looked at me, my one leg was apparently longer than the other. So he grabs the shorter one, which is the one where the knee is. And he grabs in the way and grabs it, and there's a loud pop. And Loki goes around and looks, whoa! He was like, whoa! He was like going to throw up because the pop was so audible and so loud in the locker room. And then my knee instantly felt better. I was like, oh, God, what'd you do? He goes, your kneecap was out of place for the last 3-4 months. When I came down and hit that ring, apparently I had like slightly dislodged my kneecap where I had pushed it down a couple of inches. So the swelling I thought I had wasn't swelling. It was my kneecap. My kneecap was lower than where it needed to be. So when he yanked my leg and fixed it, the kneecap went back into place. So, yeah. Any indication on what a Japanese ring feels like? There you go.
Are Loki's kicks as hard as they say, or have you ever had Loki's kicks before? Or,
I only worked one match with. Okay, I worked one match with Loki. It was like his second professional match out on a show ever. So I think it was like very started out. I mean, I was still green and young. I had a little more years on him, but I was still learning. I was still young, and he was still starting out and everything like that. And I wasn't too familiar with his style at the time because I was still working Johnny, so I hadn't gotten very privy to the international style as I would eventually. And actually, he was like a good introduction to it. But we had a decent match, and Loki and I always have gotten along for years and everything like that. Always gotten along. Whenever we see each other, always cordial, always laugh. I'm one of the few people that can make him laugh. I'm one of the people that actually make Loki laugh. I can proudly say, this now turns into a story, I am one of the few people that made him laugh in the ring at the Elks Lodge.
Jeez.
At the Elks Lodge, I made him laugh in the ring. The spot was it was like USA Pro and ICW type thing, and Jack's in the ring with the belt. Low-key comes out, and so this is when Boogie and I were the Natural Born Killers, so we were always at Jack's side. And Jack's like, we're gonna crown our first ICW champion, and he names Xavier the champion. Like he hands Xavier the champion and makes him the champion. So there was no match to make him official. Now Low-key was at this time was very hot in the New York area and everything like that. So Low-key comes out and he's like, cuts the promo, skating about, you don't just hand titles, you earn them. Blah, 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 blah. So Boogie and I come around, and we grab him by the arms, and Xavier waffles him with the belt. And I mean, Xavier got him good too, because this is like not a replica belt, that it was just like a legit belt, very thick. The letters were embossed and everything, and Xavier waffled Low-key so hard that the letters were imprinted on his head.
Oh shit!
Like they were literally imprinted on his head. So he's laying there, he's selling it, knocked out. And so this is around when Friday came out. so I get down on my hands and knees and I go right in front of his face and I go, "You got knocked the fuck out!"
Yes.
In the middle of the Elks Lodge, and Loki goes, he's like holding in his lap. "You're an asshole." So he's like laying there trying not to laugh, and he's like holding it in. So his face is getting a little red. He comes to the Lord. He goes, "You're such an asshole. What's wrong with you?" That's Jesus Christ. Because when Key goes out, Key's very serious. Even in the back, Low-key is very serious. He's very intense. What you see is what you get. He's one of the hardest training to this day. He's one of the hardest training people you will ever see. But if he likes you, he will joke with you and everything like that. There was one time we were at the Deer Park Community Center working for USA Pro, and he pulls like we're in the back, and he walks up to me with like the big fat cake knife. Like they're not sharp at all. And I look at him, "What are you gonna do with that? Spread me to death?" And he looks at me, goes, and he starts doing this to me. He starts spreading me. So he's actually a really, really funny dude. Loki's an awesome guy. But you gotta like really know him for him to let you in. Wow. And him and I again, I known him. I knew Monster Mac when Monster Mac was like half a Monster Mac. Yeah. And I go that far back with them and everything like that when they were all just starting out and everything. So all cool dudes. I get along amazing with Homicide. Love Homicide to death and everything like that.
Did you tell him the story, Joe, or no?
Oh God!
Tell Joe's got a story. Joe's got a Homicide story.
It's gonna be Joe coming out old school wrestling.
You might come after him.
Me and Geek used to go to NYWC shows. He got me to go to Ring of Honor. So we were at this Ring of Honor show. Show's going great show. I think that's the same day I met Foley. I think. I don't remember.
It was Foley. Foley was there that day.
Yeah, well, we were walking around and we see Homicide and Julia Smokes at a table. So Geek's like, "Let's go say hi." And I'm like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "How you doing, guys?" And he's like, Can you hold this?" And Smokes, was it Smokes that? Yeah, was it Smokes?
Smoke said, "Hold the envelope for me, please."
He said, oh, dang it, Lance, you just killed it. He said, "Hold it." And I was like, "All right, man, no problem." And Geek said, "All right, I want that." And he didn't. They exchanged the money, and I'm just standing there holding the certain item in my hand, and we're walking away. And I'm walking away. Lance is walking in front of me, looking around, not paying attention. In my hand, still with the item in my hand. And I go, typical me, loud little Puerto Rican Italian guy. "Holy fuck!" And I'm like, he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Fuck." Like John Leguizamo, like Geek knows. I'm Mr. John Leguizamo. We both agree, Damian.
Yeah.
He's almost the god of the god of
What's in the envelope, Joe?
like, what the fuck? Like, dude, what the fuck, man? Man, I'm gonna die. And he goes, oh my god, that's the money. This is the paycheck. I'm like, oh my god, what do we do? Do I drop it and run? And Evil Joe, clown, is going, we're at an ROH show. We can buy every t-shirt on the roster. Good Joe. The happy John Leguizamo was like, you don't want to die, Joe, do you? No. That's homicide. So we walk back to the table. Geek's like 10 rows back, like 10 feet, 10, 15 meters, standing there like, you know how Lance is. I was like, always nervous about everything. And he's like, go, Joe. And I'm like, I'll be there. I turn back. He's standing like 10 feet back, just staring like this. And I walk over and I was like, yo, guys, man, homicide, dude, I'm so sorry, man. Here you go, bro. And he goes, nah, we good, blood. He's like, see you later, man. And I'm just like,
because you were honest. He didn't have to come hunting for you.
My dad's a cop. My dad would have killed me if I went home. Dad, I found this at the show.
You escaped death. You escaped death, Joe, for today.
Homicide's another one. I love Homicide. I love Julius Smokes. I know him as J Train. I have Julius on Facebook too. Love him. Love Homicide. Because other than Johnny's, I used to train at the Doghouse all the time too, because it was close to where I lived, and that's so I would bounce between Johnny's and Doghouse. I learned again, like working low key was my first taste of working somebody that had that international feel. But then when I had started working for LIWF and then going to the Doghouse, like I learned a lot from Homicide and everything like that. And like I actually I used to help out a lot behind the scenes with ICW. And when he was thinking about bringing in Homicide, he wanted to bring him in for hardcore stuff because that's all Homicide was getting booked for. And the first time I had ever worked Homicide was in like a tornado crazy hardcore match, ironically. But I told Jack, I says, let him wrestle. He goes, really? Can he wrestle? I was like, he can wrestle. And I says, look, because at that day and age, remember the Money Network was hot. And I was like, look, the only way I can explain it to you is, I was like, his footwork is as good as Dean Malenko's.
Oh, wow.
And if you watch Homicide's footwork, like his footwork is amazing. I says, his footwork is as good as Dean Malenko's. He goes, really? I says, really? Trust me. Brought him in, let him wrestle the match. And like when he came to, he was like, holy shit. I says, I told you he can wrestle. I says, he can wrestle. And that's how Homicide started getting out of the hardcore stuff and getting to wrestle again. And I remember like Homicide actually talked to me. He's like, dude, I want to say thank you. Like it was around that time I want to say thank you because his body was really, really hurting because that's all anybody was booking him for was hardcore stuff. Or anybody was, and then that takes a toll on your body. You know, if that's all you're doing, it hurts. And I remember Homicide was like, you know, he's like, dude, bro, thank you so much for like telling him that I can wrestle because I've been hurting so much and I've been dying to actually wrestle and show people I can wrestle and everything like that. And then he got to do that at the Elks Lodge on Queens Boulevard and everything like that. And they were expecting him to do hardcore stuff. And he came out and he actually wrestled. And it was like, people were like amazed. They were like, holy shit, he can wrestle and everything. So, you know, but also in that same vein, I learned a lot from him through the years. Timing, footwork, I learned so much from him. I always put Homicide up there as like one of my, as a teacher a mentor that I learned from. You know, Johnny's my teacher, but I put like Steve Carino's one of my mentors. You know, Simon Diamond's one of my mentors. Homicide's in that list too. Like I learned so much from Homicide and everything like that. And I have nothing but love for him. And he's another one. We have lots of fun, crack lots of jokes. I never forget the last picture that I have of us together. It wasn't the last time we seen each other, but the last like actual picture we have together was I had just told him I think we were having our second or our third kid. And he goes, what? He goes, he's like, you and that Puerto Rican sperm. He goes, get out of here before you get me pregnant next. But no, I love those guys. Hit Squad, Homicide, all of them. I mean, I go so far back with all of them and everything, and I have nothing but love for those guys.
It's as I said, me and Geek are going to the NYWC show on the 17th, and I said to Geek, people do watch our podcast and listen to us. Like, don't be surprised you say something like you would say on your podcast, or just randomly say like, "Oh yeah, guys," and a group of kids turn around and all go, "Oh my god, that'll get each other."
Yeah,
because I'm not going with glasses on. I'm going to be wearing these and this hat.
There you go.
Well, I'm thinking about wearing a collared shirt because that's my new thing now. I was gonna wear my grandfather's shirt, but I don't know. I'm like, don't want Grandpa to get like mustard on him or get ketchup if I eat a burger on my shirt. But I'm gonna wear the glasses, even though these will fuck my eyes up so bad that day. Yeah. Besides, Friday I will be doing multiple different shows. Yeah, sadly, I got a message from the girl from Tokyo. She says it's too hard to do a podcast with us because it's too far. So sorry, Geek.
Yeah.
Too far.
Yeah. But one more thing before we wrap it up. I guess we could thank you. We could thank you for all the great matches Homicide had with Joe and Daniel Bryan. Because
that's it. I will never. I'm just glad Jack listened to me in that respect and gave him the shot to do that, and everything evolved the way it did. And it, again, I'm just great because again, I always knew how good he was. And I wanted people to have a chance to see that. And on top of that, I knew he was hurting. I knew he was in a tremendous amount of pain. But like the main thing is, again, I just wanted people to always see how good he was. And to this day, and like now seeing him back in ROH again, and it just makes me smile because again, I have nothing but love for Homicide, and seeing him do what he does, as good as he does, and getting the recognition that he's got finally as one of the best workers in the business. And I couldn't be happier. That he's finally recognized as one of the best workers in the business, without a doubt.
And when he won the title too, and the Ring of Honor title.
God, I was so happy for him. God, I was so happy for him because it was like they said it then. It was so long overdue.
Exactly. And
overdue.
Even the stories they were trying to tell, I guess it kind of was it dwindled into real life because he kept getting screwed, and then he finally, in that New York City show, won to one of the biggest pops in Ring of Honor history.
Oh yeah, and again, it was, and that was genuine emotion too. With the Doghouse guys there and everything, like that was genuine emotion, man. And like, and he's touched a lot of wrestlers beyond the Doghouse. Like there's guys, from. Again, the New York scene, between the Johnny Rods and the Doghouse guys, we all got to intermingle and know each other. And, and so, and then when he got to travel everywhere and do all the places to go, and people got to see and pick his brain and see how knowledgeable he was and actually see how smooth. I mean, you can't. I don't, to this day, I don't think anybody works the way he works. He's so unique and so smooth in his own way. I've never seen anybody work and move the way he does at all to this day. He's definitely in a category all by himself. Same thing like Loki. I've seen people try to emulate it. There's only one Loki. There's only one.
Yep.
It's you can't do it. It's not done that way. The closest to it is Daniel Bryan, and on top of that, Daniel Bryan does it differently than Loki. And fun fact is Loki said Daniel Bryan's the only person that's ever brought it to him harder than he brings it.
What about Shibata?
I would say Shibata. Same thing. Shibata's in a class all on his own.
Shibata's amazing, by the way.
And the guy would legit bust his head open on a head bunt.
I keep telling Joe about that spot, and I'm like, dude.
And he and it wasn't like he did it once. He would do it on a regular basis. He would do it on a regular basis. The only other guy I'd ever seen do that was Chris Benoit.
Yeah. That match was, I think, one of the most brutal matches I think I've ever seen, besides the Samoa Joe and Kenta Kobashi match from Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Those two matches.
In relation to Loki and Daniel Bryan, when Daniel Bryan was on the indie scene as American Dragon, I was working the Jersey J Cup, and Christopher Daniels was telling us he worked a tag team match, and this is when they were teaming up Loki and Daniel Bryan, or if not, they were wrestling everywhere. If they weren't wrestling each other, they were teaming. So Christopher Daniels says he tells him he wants them to do a double kick spot while he's sitting.
Oh, jeez.
Daniel Bryan, Christopher Daniels called it. So I think at the time, Scoot Andrews was his tag team partner. So they put him on, and they both back kick him at the same time. And Daniels breaks kayfabe and goes, "Why did I ask for this?"
Jeez.
Actually, one of the hardest kicks to the back I ever took was from Azrael. If you guys remember Azrael.
I do remember Azrael, yeah. Ring of Honor, right?
Another homicide. He's still out there doing his thing and everything like that. I think Az recently had an AEW dark match too. But Azrael, and still young, and Azrael back kicked me. And I mean, I'd never been back kicked so hard that it rattled down to the end. Like I felt it pulse into my fingertips. That's how hard it was. Like literally somebody swinging a baseball bat at me. It's all the way down to the end of my fingertips. That's how I'd never been kicked so hard. And this is a guy that did karate and never been kicked so hard.
I remember the match Daniel Bryan wrestling Azrael. I think it was at Sports Plus. He wasn't taking him seriously. He was being the chicken shit heel back then. Yeah. And he would try to kick Azrael as softly as possible, saying, just so he could so
no, Az was definitely one of the hardest guys. Another one of the hardest people I've ever been hit with was, believe it or not, Spike Dudley. When it was me, Plasma, who's now known as Trent Beretta in AEW, and Spike, when we worked that three-way dance at NYWC, and we fought all the way outside the building in the dead of winter and came back. But Spike Dudley was another one of the hardest people I've ever been hit by. And then, I weighed more than him. And dude, he would hit me with them forearm shots in the face. It was like, Jesus Christ.
That's another person that I wonder how we can get in touch with. Because we had Stevie Ray. Now we're going to have Al Snow. I want to know how we can get in touch with him. I would love to.
He's on Facebook somewhere.
Eek, get on that.
Yeah, he's on Facebook somewhere. I know that. Everybody is.
Yeah. It's either that or Instagram.
Exactly.
I don't know what to look up. Spike Dudley, Little Spike. Because, there's a girl. I don't know. Do you watch any of the new indies? Like any of the other indie promotions out there?
Not much. I'll be honest. I pay attention when it goes on to ECWA because especially around Super 8 time and all like that, it still holds my interest. And I still and I pay attention to what some of my friends are still doing out there. Like I see what Papa Don's doing, and I see what other people's doing. But in terms of the grander scheme of who's really coming up and coming out there, I'm not as in the loop as I used to be. And it's not so much of a disinterest. It's more so because of time now. Because I was mentioning to you guys before we got on the air, it's I'm training somebody at 6:30 in the morning and I'm there for an hour. And then after that, I'm working out for the next hour. Then after that, I come home for a couple hours. Then I go back to the gym and teach a 12 o'clock class. Then I come back home, take my kids, and then I teach from 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. So I'm in and out, in and out, in and out, and in and out. So any little moment that I'm home is usually spent trying not to do this.
Gotcha.
And it's not a Monday through Friday thing. It's a Monday through Saturday thing. Oh. So I do this Monday through Saturday. So technically Sunday's my only day off.
Yeah, that girl that I told you about, that one that I showed you with that mask one.
Yeah.
I was watching her stuff before, an hour before we started, because I was watching SmackDown and then looking at her stuff. She just headbutts. She just punch, headbutt. I'm like, this chick must have brain cells neener. Hi, can I get a French fry with a side of onion where I am?
Well, if you do it right, it's not that bad. The hardest part of the body is right here. Hardest part of the body is the top of the head.
She's making an order. She wakes up and she's punching the McDonald guy in the head. Ma'am, did you want French fries? Why are you beating me up? Oh, sorry, I blacked out in the middle of my order. It's like that's why I don't think I told you. I told you last time we did the show. I got to get back into writing it again, but I was doing a wrestling story and I'm gonna have two characters.
Oh yeah, you had mentioned this. Yeah,
I gotta get you and Foxy in the story. I'm gonna have you guys take me under the wing and make me change my gimmick from me wearing a mask.
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah, I remember you telling me the last time we were on here.
Guys, oh, you can't be your grandfather. You have to be yourself. That's gonna be your line. You can't be your grandfather. Your grandfather was his own thing. You're your own thing. Wrestling has a way of separating everybody from everything else.
The funny thing is, it's funny because that you say that, because when we all get in wrestling, like for those of us that got in, like a lot of people, almost the majority, almost everyone gets in emulating the one that gravitated them into liking it. But then, like as you move on, you start finding your own niche eventually. You know, you start finding like influences from other places and everything like that, and it expands and it grows, and you might pick a little from here, pick a little from there, but then hopefully eventually along the way, you find that niche that's you, and that's where it really grows, and that's why like Stone Cold Steve Austin became so popular, became such a good, because like, after a while he's just like, you know what, this is me. Turned up to 11. This is me. I was never this guy. I was never that guy. I was never this guy. I mean, he had a great run of Stunning Steve Austin. It was fantastic.
I love Stunning Steve Austin.
But there was touches. There was touches of what he would eventually become while he was in the Hollywood Blondes. It was like a tint of it there, because he was being a little bit more himself while he was with Brian. But once he was like cut loose and he just turned it up to 11, that's that guy. Same thing. I was there when The Rock debuted as Rocky Johnson at Survivor Series. I was there.
Wow.
But like, if you watch his early stuff, you can kind of see it was very formulaic. He was following the formula of what a good guy should be. And he was doing all the routine stuff, and it wasn't really getting over. Until he finally turned heel and he cut loose and let his anger come out that he was really feeling. But then he just started letting his real personality come out. And then look, it like exploded. Same thing. You watch somebody like AJ Styles. AJ I knew for years too before. AJ was, if you think about it, like was kind of bland for a while until he decided to like just cut loose and be a little goofy and be himself and the real person he is, and you see it shines. When you start being that person, it shines. Kevin Owens, same thing. If you go back to his Kevin Steen days, his early rookie days, where he's like very clean cut, just whatever, but till he started being him and with his quick wit and the random things that he says, now look at him. That's the thing. Like what you're looking to do in your story is very real in the case for those that wisen up to discover that in the wrestling business. It's finding yourself, whether it be an extension of yourself. There's two ways that I've found that it makes it work, and I use them both. It's either A, an extension of yourself and turned up way high, or B, it's a complete 180 of who you actually are and wish you can be, and you let it all out. And that's usually the two ways that it works. And everything like that.
That's why I figured I'd put you and Foxy in, because you technically are part of my indie wrestling fandom. And like you're part of what I liked about the indies so much, that you guys were actual married couple, and in the era of no computers, the start of the computer, and then people started being so weird to you, but I knew you guys on another level than everybody else did. Like Geek would see, or Lance would know and be like, Joe, you and Foxy are like buddies. And I'm like, yeah. and then the heel, and then the heel turn happened, and then he's like, "Is still that kind of friendship now, Joe?" And I'm like, "It still is, but it's still now like a quiet friendship."
Yeah.
He's like, "Joe, don't run over to."
It's like, Joe, get out of here. It's like, don't say nothing. You're ruining it, right?
I'm friends with David Copperfield, but I can't say nothing else.
I remember he picked me up to go to a show one time, and I was wearing the shirt I made. Do you remember the shirt, Lance? The I Heart Foxy shirt?
Uh-huh.
You don't remember? I think everybody in that knew was around me remembered it. I made the shirt out of a T-shirt, like plain long neck T-shirt.
If she really wanted to be the heel, she should have just took it and stepped on it or something like that.
Yeah. I didn't give it. I was wearing it. She would have. What kind of T-shirt? Where'd you get this T-shirt from? Kmart? I can't rip it. Mikey's not gonna let me in the building. We had this warning. I told that.
I've already been warned about this. I've already been warned.
I told Dickie about that story about the Damian, about the Mikey, and I did the voice.
And he said it's close.
It's like, I do like the shirt, but he was like, "Oh my God, you just did the." I was like, "Yeah, I learned that.
I used to do it all the time too. Actually, is all right. Last story for the road.
All right, you gotta go.
Going up to we're working. It's either Boston or Rhode Island. So en route, had to pick up Tony Mama Luke from the airport and everything. So anybody that knows, going from like New York, New Jersey to like the New England area is the worst, especially when you're on I-95 going through Connecticut. It's the worst, absolute worst. So we're going up and everything like that. So tons of traffic. And Mikey's riding with, I think, Myers and Matthews, Hawkins and Ryder. So I call him up real quick and I says, "Hey, Mikey, how are you making out for time and everything like that?" He goes, "Well, Damian, right now we're sitting in a whole lot of fucking no movement whatsoever fucking ever. So, yeah, how about you guys?" I says, "Same thing, Mikey." He goes, "Well, fuck me up the ass, fuck you up the ass, and I'll see you when we get there." Okay.
Oh yeah.
So we get up to the airport in New England. Again, we got to pick up Tony, Mama Lou. So we pick up Tony, and I guess I don't know if Mikey told him or whatever, but somebody had made Tony privy. Now, this is the first time I'd ever met Tony Mama Luke. This would be the first time of many. But this was the first time I met Tony Mama Luke. I've never met him ever. So he's sitting in the passenger seat. I'm sitting in the back seat. And so I'm sitting right in the middle. And Tony goes, "I hear there's somebody in this car that does a hell of a Mikey Whipwreck impersonation." I said, "Oh, shit." I said, "That's me." Yes, all right. Let's hear it. Come on. I heard you do the. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Because Tony's got like a kind of a southern accent. So anyway, boom. And I said, "Well, Tony, let me tell you, it's good to see you in the car. We're gonna get to the building. We're gonna go in. We're gonna do a lot of crazy shit. Okay? And then we're going to have a couple of beers afterwards. Sound good? Okay, good." And so Tony goes, "Fuck. If I didn't fucking know any better, I swear to God, Mikey Whipwreck was sitting in the fucking car."
He's the other person that I would love to find out if someone could just help us get him on the podcast. Mikey Whipwreck.
Oh, Tony, I haven't seen Tony in years. The last time I saw him was when he did a ring save for me. That was about it. That was the last time I saw him.
He's on Instagram, but he doesn't answer anything. Like,
I heard he retired. He retired because he retired shortly after in ECWA. He actually Papa Don had his retirement match. He did his retirement match with Papa Don. And Tony took the boots off and everything at ECWA, left him in the ring, and he worked Papa Don.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
So Papa Don had your retirement match and Tony's retirement match.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I guess that's like my one regret. I wish him and I had a better match, but just the way that night went. But again, at the end of the day, it still turned out good for what it needed to be. But I knew we could do better because we had done better. You guys had seen us do better at NYWC because we had killer matches in NYWC. But I requested him. I asked for him to be my last match. I was like, you got to give me Papa Don. I said, me and Papa Don are going to tear it up. And I felt like I let him down so much, and I still kind of carry that, even though we've conversated about it and gotten over it and watched, because it was probably like 6 to 8 months before I could watch the DVD of our finals match on ECWA. I couldn't watch it. I just was holding it. I just couldn't watch it. I would watch like the aftermath, but I could not watch the match. And then we finally spoke, and he's like, no, dude. He's like, for what the story was building that night, it worked. And it fit. It wasn't what we wanted to do, and it didn't come off the way we wanted. But when you watch it back, it fits the night and it fits the story, and it's not as bad as you think, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Mm-hmm. But even still, there's still a pinch of me that But I have obviously nothing for love for Papa Don if he was the one I asked to be my last match.
Is he still wrestling or?
Oh yeah. He's still wrestling. He's still out there doing it. He said he's never going to retire. He's never going to retire. And he's also got his Star Wars podcast too.
That's awesome.
He's a huge Star Wars fan. He's a huge Star. So he's got his weekly Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, the mod is a huge Star Wars fan. Huge. You have no idea. So.
Then you got it because it's him, Stevie Richards, and I forgot who else. But yeah, like him and Stevie Richards are on that. They do Star Wars every week.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so he's a huge Star Wars fan. If you pay attention to his music, the very beginning of his music is actually a portion of the Darth Maul theme. So it's that operatic singing. That's the beginning of Darth Maul. Before it goes into the bow to the Greek god that he had mixed and everything like that. But the beginning portion is Darth Maul.
Crazy.
And everything. So, yeah. So, there's my stories. And we put in another 2.5 hours.
Yeah. 2.5 hours. Wow, we actually made it. We made it to 2.5 hours.
I'll admit I was nervous. I didn't think I was going to be able. But again, as we get going, they start popping in.
Can we go another?
Calcified gray matter. They're in there.
You want to go longer? You want to go 3 hours?
We'll do as long as we did for the one for Woods. No, I'm just kidding.
No, next thing I knew, I was like, oh my god, like we've been on here this long.
I was watching that. I was like, you guys want? I was like, I think I fell asleep watching that one. I'm like, I look at it and I'm like, dude, they went 3.5 hours.
I did not know. But we got really super in depth. We were like very, very, very in depth. Because it was also it was crazy because he'd been waiting to do that one apparently because he knew of me and my career, which I was so honored and everything like that. So I was like, he had a ton of questions to ask. Yeah. Since he hadn't been there, like you guys were there in person, so you got to live like a good portion of my career. You guys got to live a good portion of my career. Whereas he got to see it like either hear about it or see it on a video or something like that. So I guess it was like he'd been holding out all these years to finally ask these questions and everything. So it was like, whoa.
And he's from LA too. It's like the West Coast. So that's pretty hard,
Yeah, exactly.
So crazy, man.
I had him get like freaked out because I was like, we were mentioning something about what's his name? Oh God, Chris Benoit, and I said something. I think it was Benoit's birthday or something, and he went from.
You should have seen the look on his face.
Kind of a taboo topic.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was there at the.
You should have seen my face. I'm like, did he really just ask that question? And then I think he tried to cover it up and started talking about it. I'm like, okay. So I thought that was the end of the interview right there.
He did think he's like, guys, dude, yeah. I swear,
it's kind of a taboo. It's definitely a taboo topic, for say the
I
least.
swear, if we ever got a chance to hang out with Woods, it'd be like New York meets California, because he'd be like, because if you close your eyes and you hear Woods' voice, you think he's some kind of like surfer dude with like blonde hair, like the half Justin Bieber. Here you go, visualization, Joe. You think of it like a half Justin Bieber hair doing this, like Sep dude with the nose ring. Sep dude, you never know, man, And then you'll realize you're like, he's like my friend did when the first time he saw Seven Dust. He's black? Yeah. Yeah, my friend was at a Seven Dust concert.
Oh my God.
The lead singer comes out and he just goes, he's black? And the whole crowd just around him just goes, they all look at him like he was like, I'm not racist. I didn't know he was black.
Yeah, super nice guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Super. Like, the man watches every one of our podcasts on Facebook.
That's awesome.
And shares it. Too.
Gotta support each other, right? It's like anything else. Gotta support each other.
We gotta let the
I get an Arizona spot because I drink these on air all the time with these things. I gotta get an Arizona sponsorship. I'm always drinking these things. I
wonder how to get a sponsored by Pop Vinyl so they can finally make the Joe Panther Jr. Pop Vinyl, or even Quinones Pop Vinyl. Oh my God, my grandfather was a pop.
Yeah, there you go.
Right Everybody's there. Got them.
I have my Zach one. There's a place on Long Island. If you ever go back to England. Oh God! Oh, the AC/DC one. That's cool.
Nice.
There's
but anyway, guys. Again, as always, it has been a pleasure. It is late. Oh,
Mandalorian.
Oh God! You got the Baby Yoda.
The Baby Yoda. I just got that for my birthday. So.
Nice.
Mandalorian, right there. So speaking of Star Wars, but I know you got to go. So
That's all right. But yeah, check out. Since you're into Star Wars, check out Papa Don's podcast.
Definitely. Damian, I want to thank you.
Thank you again so much for having me on again. It is always fun and a pleasure and everything like that. It's always a blast. And thank you for helping me get through some memories I haven't thought about or spoken in a long time. So again, you guys see I've been smiling and laughing the whole way. So thank you for asking me to do this. I appreciate it.
And the thing is, we want you to come back. Definitely.
Round 3. We'll give let this one marinate. We'll go for another one though. I'll start writing the stories down so I remember them.
Yeah, no offense, but yeah, we're definitely gonna down the line. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should try to do this. We should try to wait all the way till around October.
That works. That way, like I said, gives me time to remember them and write them down.
I would say I don't know if Foxy would be too happy. Geek, we should try to do Halloween with Damian Dragon.
Hey, I can't do that.
You gotta do trick or treat with the kids, right?
Has Trevor got beat?
And on top of that, it's also Foxy and I's wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow. We can celebrate it. We can give you a nice scent.
But yeah, I mean, between trick or treating and then our annual Chinese food anniversary thing, yeah, unfortunately, Halloween we got to take a bow on that one.
I know you gotta go, but Pinto actually asked how Foxy's doing, by the way.
Oh, awesome! She's probably ready for bed soon, but I know she's been up there playing Assassin's Creed.
Send our love, tell Foxy we send our love, and hope to all the kids that Joe Panther and Metal Geek say hi and
absolutely
have great summer. Stay safe. Stay away from fireworks on Sunday.
I'm gonna try to. Well, I'm staying away from it, but unfortunately, it's been banging outside my my man cave for the last couple hours.
Me too. I was getting scared. That's why I said before. I said the fire. Or was it this one, or was it the one with the rain? That was it. Was this? Was it Raina's, or was it this one? I was like, it was Pennsylvania's fireworks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just. It was raining during Raina's fire podcast.
Mm-hmm.
It was literally raining. I was like, that's kind of creepy. I went outside the end of the podcast.
That's a wrestling name. It's Rain. RAYHNE.
It's the nicest sound effects I've ever heard in my entire life. her accent was so pretty. It's like he didn't say napkin, he said tissue. He's like, yeah.
Joe, I think Damon's signaling that he has to go, Joe.
No. I'm saying that the M80s are going off. No, like I'm surprised you guys can't hear it because they're actually like that loud. Like the M80s are like so loud in my area right now.
Yeah, we don't even hear it on the podcast, which is good, you know.
Oh yeah, that's good because it's like here they're loud. They're loud.
Yeah.
Here. All right, guys. Again, it has been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, everybody, who watched. Talk to you guys soon. Stay disturbed.
Yes, always.
All right, bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Well, that was fun.
That was
2 hours.
2 hours, 35 minutes. I think that was the longest podcast we ever did.
Yeah.
I think we went 220 the last time we talked to him. So, Joe, you want to say? Well, I gotta say my goodbyes first. So, thank you so much. So, thank you so much to everybody for coming out tonight and coming to chat and talking with us, Damian Dragon. I just want to say also a big announcement for everyone. We actually made it to 300 fans on Facebook. Thank you so much, by the way. Thank you so much. Let's keep it going, though. Let's get to 400, Joe. And you can always donate to us at http://streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside. http://streamlabs.com/dudes@ringside. Thank you. Take it away, Joe.
And as I always say, even though wrestling shows or indie shows are opening up, please go support your local indies. Go on.
What's the site?
What's the site?
What's the site? Come on, Joe. You know the site. Come on.
By now, I should be knowing this because I say it every episode.
Pro Wrestling Tees.
Pro Wrestling. Go on Pro Wrestling Tees today and buy a random wrestling shirt.
20% off. 20% off on
your T-shirts
today.
And actually, Canada Day actually was 15. Go get a T-shirt for Canada Day or Pro Wrestling Tees and buy a Reina shirt. You already know who she is.
Yeah.
Or buy Tom. Damian Dragon. Any of our lovely guests. And as I always say, thank you to my grandfather. Thank you to my cousin, Keith Sanchez. And thank you to Frank Martinez, the Blue Demon, for lighting the way for all Latino wrestlers. Good night, everybody. Happy 4th of July.